Hi, and welcome back to yet another video. This is the fourth episode of the story about the time when the world believed that the Uzumaki were extinct and completely forgot about them. After years of laying low, they will re-emerge and make themselves known again to deliver vengeance to those who sought to destroy their family. Being descendants of the sage, it is also their task to keep the balance in the world by peace and war. After you've finished watching, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Let's get started. Are you kids ready? Hi. Please, let us get to Uzumaki already. My headache's getting worse because of the Shukaku. It won't stop screaming, Gaara said impatiently as he scratched his head. Alright then. Minato replied as he chuckled. Kazakage dono, we will take good care of your children, so you have nothing to worry about. I know you will, Minato-san. I trust they will be in good hands and will learn a lot. And thank you. The Kazakage replied as he bid his children goodbye. Right then. Gaara, Temari, Kankuro. Hold hands. Minato ordered and waited for them too. Gaara was in the middle, so Minato held Temari and Kankuro's other free hand and channeled his jutsu. A few moments later there was a flash of yellow and the Kazakage was left alone at his office. Soon, Tsunade will rise higher than the leaf. Konoha, you will pay for your crimes. The Kazakage thought as he sat down and returned to his paperwork. Uzukage office. The Uzukage along with her 4 older children were waiting for the arrival of the Kazakage's children. They should be here in a few moments. Where are Naruto-kun and Fu-chan? She asked as she tapped at her desk. Everyone looked up as the door of the office opened and revealed Naruto and Fu with Sasuke and Hinata following behind. Sasuke and Hinata have been already informed about Naruto and Fu's Jinchuriki statuses. Sasuke, Hinata, and Naruto have become easily attached to each other and were inseparable. Since they were all from Konoha, they had something that linked the 3 of them with each other. When Sasuke and Hinata were taught about the tailed beasts and the Jinchurikis, they immediately understood their kind of situation. They felt sorry for the Jinchuriki as their life was harsh and had to endure something great at a young age. Thankfully, they also figured out that the Jinchurikis were not harmful and were not the tailed beasts themselves. As they thought more about it, they realized that the description about them could be related with Naruto and Fu. After a while, the 2 newcomers were summoned at the Uzukage's office and were informed about her 2 children's Jinchuriki status. Sasuke and Hinata, thankfully, did not become hostile after and became friendlier with Naruto and Fu. This made the 2 Jinchurikis happy and made their bond stronger together. Now that another Jinchuriki was coming, they now know something about their kind. Sorry we're late. Naruto grinned as they entered the room. Where are they? Just as he asked his question, there was a flash of yellow and out came his father along with 3 children. One of them was a girl with a fan on her back. One was a boy who looked like a cat because of his clothing, and the last one was a red-haired boy who radiated an aura and had dark circles around his eyes. As the 4 newcomers got familiar with the new place, Naruto was the first to greet them. Hello. Welcome to Uzumaki. The name's Uzumaki Namikaze Naruto, the future Uzukage. Believe it. Naruto cheerfully said, making the other people in the room smile. Hello, I'm Kankuro. The Catman said as he offered a hand. Wow. Seriously, for a moment I thought you were a half-cat with makeup. The blonde muttered as he shook hands with him. Kankuro's sweat dropped while his siblings tried not to laugh but failed at it. Ha ha ha. Whoa, cutie. I like you already. I'm Subaku no Temari. The girl said while she was still trying to stifle her laugh. Commenting about Kankuro's looks at first sight. Ha ha ha. I like you, yes I do. Hee hee, sorry about that Kankuro-san. Don't worry about it. Everyone thinks he is a catman with makeup. The red-haired boy said as he tried to quit laughing. I'm Subaku no Gaara. The 2 young Jinchurikis shook hands as they shared their laughter. The Kazakage's children were acquainted with the other people in the room after their interaction with Naruto. The Uzukage formally welcomed them to Uzumaki and they got into a friendly conversation. As the Uzukage's children were talking with the Uzumaki Namikaze family members, a certain someone was screaming for bloody murder. Naruto was telling them a story when suddenly he became silent. Naruto and Fu got tense and stared at Gaara. Naruto-kun, Fu, there's something wrong. Gaara has something sealed inside him aside our brother Shukaku. Chome and Kurama both said to their hosts. The Uzukage noticed her son's tense stance and inquired. Naruto-kun, what's wrong? Naruto stared at his mother and was not able to respond, only giving her a scared look. This made the Uzukage, Minato, and Naruto's siblings alert. Your head hurts, doesn't it? And you're also sleepy? Naruto asked the red-haired boy, making him widen his eyes in surprise. How did you know? Gaara asked. Kurama-chan and I can feel it. Shukaku's screaming, we can almost hear it. Something off is radiating. Yes. Chomei says the same thing. Fu added. Ka-chan, something is wrong. We need to get Gaara-san into an open area where there are no people. Now. The Uzumaki understood what her son meant and immediately called for the storm hidden inside the office. I want 2 sealing teams at the sealing ground 1 immediately. Minato made 2 clones and had one of them Hiraishi Hinata and Sasuke out of the office and brought to the mansion while the other clone went for Mio and Miho. Tosan, we're coming. We'd like to help. Minako and Narumi said. Hey, what's going on? Temari asked, now worried. Shukaku and another one is going out of Gaara-san. Replied Naruto. Another one? Kankuro asked, completely baffled. Yes. Fu replied. Just then, Gaara screamed in agony while he clutched his head. Minato grabbed him and quickly Hiraishi to sealing ground 1. Kushina followed and vanished in a red flash. Minako grabbed Naruto and Fu while Narumi took Kankuro and Temari's hands. They followed the Uzumaki and Hiraishi out of the office. Sealing ground 1 is a huge open space meant for sealing tailed beasts and keeping them at bay. It has been applied with numerous amounts of seals in order to suppress a tailed beast's chakra and to keep it from rampaging. The place is located on another island away from the village for added safety. Minato quickly put down Gaara in the middle of the island where a hexagonal seal was drawn. As soon as Gaara touched the floor, the seals in the island began to glow. The hexagonal seal in the middle rose and formed a prism, holding the red-haired boy in a grip-like hold but not hurting him. The Uzumaki appeared in a red flash followed by Naruto and the others. A few moments later 8 more people came via sunshine. Blood. Yes. Blood. Kill them all. Prove our existence. Gaara screamed in pain and lost consciousness. This caused the Shukaku to come out of his seal faster. Freedom. Yes. Boo-wah-ha-ha-ha-ha. Time to kill. Yes. Let us kill some filthy mortals. Boo-wah-ha-ha-ha-ha-ack. What is this? Get this seals off. Ack. We cannot be fully awake with these seals. We? What is this? Kurama wondered. I can feel another presence. It's the same one earlier. It's not from the boy. It radiates from Shukaku himself. Yo, sis, Chomei said as Naruto and Fu got linked. The aura doesn't feel like it's immortal. Yes. It's only mortal. But powerful. I wonder. Prepare to knock out the Shukaku. The Uzumaki ordered as she, Minato, Minako, Narumi, and the 8 others stormed got into a double hexagonal formation with the beast at the middle. Kankuro and Temari were ordered to keep distance as they restrained the giant raccoon. Uzumaki art, double hexagonal seal. No. I just woke up. My existence. I have to prove my existence, Shukaku bellowed as a double hexagonal seal lit up. From the 12 people's positions, a different colored beam shot out of the sky and connected forming 2 hexagonal prisms. One inside and another one bigger outside. The prism started to move towards the middle as it slowly shrunk, encasing the one-tailed beast and causing it to lose hold. Let us out. We need to prove our existence. You filthy mortals. I shall punish you with the light. Ack. It stopped screaming as its head hit the ceiling of the prism and got pushed down. The prism glowed a brighter color and more seals appeared inside the prism. The Ichibi tried to fight but was overpowered by the seal. After a few minutes it lost consciousness and returned back inside Gaara's seal. The prison remained active for about 3 more minutes to make sure the Ichibi was resealed back inside and will go to sleep. Gaara woke up a few minutes after the seals went off. Temari and Kankuro was immediately by his side and was fussing over him. Okay, whoever did your seal, he or she really sucked. Naruto commented as he too got near Gaara. The seal was faulty. The one who did it must have been a low-level sealer or probably wanted Gaara dead. Minato told the Subaku siblings while Kushina applied some healing seals on Gaara. Gaara, how are you feeling now? I'm fine now. Thank you, Uzumaki-sama. The Shukaku has gone silent now. I think it's asleep. Let's go back to the village. I want you and your siblings to stay at the hospital for a while as we check on your health conditions. We will also have your seal checked so we can begin overriding it as soon as possible. They all returned to the village and the Subaku siblings were confined to the hospital for a few hours before they got released. Gaara was placed inside a room with seals to keep the Shukaku at bay and not bother him. Sasuke, Hinata, Naruto, and Fu visited the red-haired boy and they shared stories. Meanwhile, Chomei and Kurama was having a conversation through their host's mental links. They were discussing about the strange entity they felt earlier when their brother Shukaku got out from Gar's seal. They noticed that the beast was talking strangely and was saying we instead of I. They didn't fail to take note when he screamed something about punishing mortals with the light. It was just not him. They knew Shukaku never talked like that. Kumagakure. It was a normal day at Kumagakure. The villagers and Shinobi were doing their own businesses when one of the glasses of the Reikage's office exploded, followed by what looked like a human being tossed out. Everyone in the village could almost hear their leader's angry outburst. What? What do you mean you do not have the heiress? Mabui, the Reikage's assistant, can also be heard trying to calm her boss down so the whole village won't have to hear him. Reikage-sama, please, you need to calm down. And please put down Jay down. He's going to die from suffocation. The Reikage just grunted in response, but thankfully he put down the Kumo kidnapper captain. Reikage office. The Reikage took a deep breath and ordered his shinobi to report. Jay coughed up a bit and straightened himself before taking a long breath. Report. We were successfully able to infiltrate Konoha without any problems. We got inside the Hyuga compound and saw it empty. We waited in the shadows for some time and finally saw the heiress unconscious, carried by 2 Hyuga slaves. 2 of us followed them and silently killed the 2 branch members and then placed the heiress inside the bag. We got outside the Hyuga compound without any problems and immediately headed for the way out. As we were escaping, the alarms went on and we found ourselves cornered near the Uchiha compound. Before we got cornered, we bumped into one of the Uchiha heir. We also had him knocked unconscious and placed inside our sack for bonus. As we prepared to fight, we also found 2 Iwanins, one of them carrying an unconscious boy. The leader of the 2 asked for a team up as we escaped Konoha. She figured that we were also kidnapping someone and didn't give a thing about it as long as we helped each other out. I agreed and both of our teams battled together against Konohanen and some civilians who decided to get in our way. We easily wiped them out and managed to escape to the forests. We lost the pursuers for some time, but they were able to catch up on us as we got near the fire border. There we decided to halt and face our pursuers. As we prepared for a fight, they were able to snatch the children we were kidnapping and we had to chase after them. We followed them and found ourselves cornered by more Konohanen. We battled for a good 10 minutes and destroyed the forest in the process. In the end, we got our Tenketsu points sealed off by the Hyuga and we got overpowered by the Uchiha's Sharingan. Before we lost consciousness, we saw the Konohanen get killed. When we woke up, we found their dead bodies and the children we were kidnapping gone. My team suspected Iwa of treachery but decided to call it off as we saw them as confused as we were when we woke up. We all woke up the same time and searched the area for some traces but found none. In the end we decided to call the search off and go our separate ways and go back to our own villages. So that's it? That's how you lost your captives? Hi. Reikage-sama. Jay replied nervously as he could feel his boss's killer intent leaking again. Bro, you need to calm down. I don't want you to throw out another fool outside. These poor fools are saying the truth. I know because I am Killer B, the Jinchuriki of the Hachibi. Yeah, baby. Reikage's brother, B, said while rapping. I wonder who killed those Konohanen? We do not know yet, brother. Hachibi says he's also trying to figure it out, yo. Their meeting was interrupted when the door flew open, revealing a panting Jonin who looked nervous. Reikage-sama, forgive me for the sudden intrusion. But I got urgent news. We just received a letter from the Hokage delivered by one of their fastest messenger birds. The Jonin said as he shakily handed the letter to the Reikage. The Reikage took the scroll and glared at the Jonin. Well? What are you waiting for? Get the hell out of here. The Reikage shouted as he grabbed the poor Jonin and threw him outside his office by the glass window. Killer B watched in amusement as the Jonin got thrown outside. He took out a notepad and began writing rhymes on it. Iwagakure at Tsuchikage office. That Tsuchikage was happily waiting inside his office when he heard that his granddaughter and her partner have returned from their mission. His happy face immediately fell when Kurotsuchi entered the office with a smug look, followed by Akatsuchi who looked nervous. Do I need to ask that you do not have the boy? Onoki looked at his granddaughter with a frown. Kurotsuchi didn't respond but instead sat by the chair opposite her grandfather's. Tsuchikage-sama, Akatsuchi said as he bowed. Onoki nodded in response and motioned for him to take a seat. Alright, tell me what happened. Report. We managed to get inside the fire country without any problems. We made camp near Konoha's forests and had 4 clones scout the village. By nightfall we took down our camp and infiltrated the village. As we got inside we immediately saw a huge mob chasing after a boy. That boy was our target, Uzumaki Namikaze Naruto. Kurotsuchi immediately sprung in action to help, attacking the mob and summoning a dome to protect the boy. I rushed by her side and fought the civilians. We had to kill them since we could not risk the boy getting harmed. And they were also bent on trying to murder us too as well. We easily killed the mob and urgently headed out. As we got near the Uchiha compound, we found ourselves face to face with a team of Kumo shinobi who happened to be kidnapping the Hyuga heiress and the Uchiha head's youngest son. We got cornered by more civilians who tried to fight us and by some Konoha nin who were chasing the Kumo nin. We easily killed them off as we have decided to team up. We got outside to the forests and were pursued by Konoha nin. As we got nearby the fire border, we decided to fight our pursuers. They managed to snatch the children from our grasps and we had to chase after them. We got surrounded by more Konoha nin and battled them for a good 10 minutes. We destroyed the forest in the process, but in the end we got defeated by the combined power of the Byakugan and the Sharingan. Before we lost consciousness, we saw the Konoha nin get slaughtered. When we woke up, we found their dead bodies but there was no sign of the children we were kidnapping. We searched for them but found no trace. Kurotsuchi and I suspected Kumo of treachery but decided to call it off as we realized they were as just confused as we were. Both our teams woke up at the same time. In the end we decided to part ways and head back to our own villages. I see. I wonder. Curious. Very curious. Could be Konoha trying to misguide us. The Tsuchikage murmured to himself while the two watched him. He was interrupted from his thoughts when he heard a knock. The knock sounded urgent so he immediately ordered for the person to get inside the office. Tsuchikage-sama. Urgent message from Konoha. It was brought by one of their fastest messenger birds. The Jonin said as he handed his leader a scroll. Thank you, Onoki said as the Jonin nodded and exited the room. He unsealed the scroll and began reading it. Kanahagakure Hokage office Hokage-sama. The messenger birds have returned. They have gotten our messages. A figure said as he kneeled. The Hokage was facing the window while he blew on his pipe. Good. Now, I want you to find Jiraiya and tell him to see me immediately. The Hokage replied without looking at the Anbu. Hi. Flashback. Last night Reikage Dono, Tsuchikage Dono, I regret to inform you that I am deeply offended by your recent actions. To attack Konoha during a time of peace is simply outrageous. When you raided the village we were obviously caught off guard and were surprised. And to add to the fact that you took some of our scrolls, the Uzumaki and the Namikaze clan's scrolls, to be exact. You also had the gall to blow up the Yondaime Hokage's face and destroyed the Uzumaki and Namikaze clan's mansions after you took what you wanted. We had our suspicions that Iwa and Kumo were the ones who did the raid on us but I decided not to press on it as I didn't want our villages to get into a misunderstanding. But now that you have returned and decided to kidnap important people from our village, I can no longer ignore the fact that you have committed great offenses against us. I am a peaceful man. I wish to keep the peace between the 5 great nations. I hope you feel the same. Kanahagakure would be very grateful if you return the items and people that you have taken. I would also like to let you know that I, the Sundaime Hokage, still respects the treaty and wishes for it to continue. Return what you have taken and Kanahagakure will forget about the recent events. Sarutobi Hiruzen, Sundaime Hokage. The Hokage straightened up as he finished writing the letters addressed to the Iwa and Kumo leaders. Shikaku, I would like you to read this and tell me if it is alright. The lazy Nara head yawned and thought it was too troublesome but took the letter from the Hokage and read it anyway. Seems fine to me. The threat is still there even if it is hidden. The Hokage nodded and looked at Shikaku. Tell me, what do you think shall we do if they do not return them? We cannot go into physical confrontation at the moment. So our best move against them would be politically. We'll try to drag other nations to this and ask them for help. We'll try to pressure them as much as possible. We'll threaten to cut off trades and routes if they do not cooperate. That should work. That's a bit risky. Sarutobi commented. Risky, yes. But it is our best option. Shikaku shrugged as he told the Hokage. By the way, Hokage-sama, how are the talks going with Suna? Suna hasn't responded to any of our messages ever since the raid. You don't think? Shikaku said, not finishing the sentence as it was already obvious. I hope not, Shikaku. If Suna is also involved, then I'm afraid to say that Konoha would be at a disadvantage. We could take on 2 villages at the same time. But if you'll make it 3, we will have problems. Even if we say we have allies, fighting against 3 of the 5 great nations will be difficult. That's unless we ally with Karigakure. An alliance with Kiri would be beneficial if Suna is really our possible enemy now. Yes. I'll look into that. I'll start making preparations for a possible alliance between Konoha and Kiri. For now let us hope that Kumondi will return what they have taken from us, Sarutobi said, deciding to finish the meeting. Shukaku, have these letters sent by our fastest messengers birds. The Hokage ordered as he finished sealing the scrolls. One copy for the Reikage, and another one for the Tsuchikage. Hi. Good night, Hokage-sama. I'll see you again tomorrow. Good night, Shukaku, Sarutobi said as the Nara had exited the office. The Hokage cleaned up his desk and also got out of the office for bed. Flashback and Shiogakure. We will have to set the Shukaku free. We will contain it while we erase the seal from Gaara. After erasing the seal we will immediately perform the double hexagonal sealing on him so the Shukaku won't bother Gaara too much when he gets sealed once again. The Uzumaki explained to Gaara and his siblings with Naruto and Fu also there listening. Ka-chan. Kurama-chan says she's got something important to tell you, Naruto said as he waited for his mother's response. Alright, what is it? Naruto closed his eyes and concentrated, letting Kurama take over for the moment so she could relay the message easier. Kushina. When my brother Shukaku got out of his seal earlier, Chomei and I noticed something. Shukaku was talking in a manner he shouldn't be. He was talking about himself but saying we instead of I. He also mentioned something about purging mortals with the light. Shukaku was never the religious type. There was something else in him. Yes, Chomei said through Fu who also joined in the conversation. If I recall correctly, Shukaku's first Jinchuriki was a priest. And the seal was unstable. Ever since, Shukaku changed and became weird. From what we have observed, Shukaku's probably channeling the spirit of his first Jinchuriki. It is also possible that a part of the priest's soul has been sealed within Shukaku's mind as the seal was a failure, Kurama said. If we're going to unleash Shukaku, we must extract the priest from him first before we reseal him back inside Gaara. Kurama and Chomei finished, switching back and allowing Naruto and Fu regain control of their bodies. So the story about the priest is true then, Kushina said to herself. Has the priest always been mad? The Uzumaki asked. Kurama-chan says she's not sure. Alright. So we will have to extract the priest from Shukaku first before we reseal him inside Gaara. Excuse me. Gaara interrupted. I can feel the Shukaku stirring. I think he is about to wake up. Alright then. We will do it in 10 minutes. I'll have some people come over to assist. Ka-chan. I would like to watch. I want to be there with Gaara for some support. Naruto requested to his mother while doing the puppy eyes jutsu, making his mother's heart melt. Alright, Naruto-kun. Just stay on a distance when the process start, alright? Alright. Thanks Ka-chan. The boy replied and hugged his mother. Can I come too? Fu said. 10 minutes later, back to sealing ground 1 Gaara, are you ready? The Uzumaki asked as the boy laid down with his shirt off, making the seal on his stomach visible. Hi, Uzumaki-sama. Please begin. The Uzumaki nodded to the storm in the island, signaling them to get ready as she made hand seals. Foon, release, she said as she slammed her palm on Gaara's seal, making it glow. The Uzumaki also applied a sleeping seal on Gaara to help Shukaku get out faster. Within a few minutes the Ichibi have finally got out. Gaara was immediately brought to a safe distance and was surrounded by storm where 2 of them were erasing his current seal. Boo-wah-ha-ha-ha-ha. Yes. Freedom, at last. Now, we can prove our existence. Wah-ha-ha-ha-ha. The Ichibi cackled madly as it began scanning its surroundings. It sensed the other living beings in the island and immediately headed to the location where the Uzumaki was waiting. Ha-ha-ha-ha. We found you, mortal. You suck at hiding. Moo-wah-ha-ha-ha. Now, time to prove our existence. Die, mortal. Die by the light. Moo-wah-ha-ha-ha. It laughed madly as it opened its mouth, gathering chakra. The Uzumaki immediately recognized it as a Baijudama. She activated her Rinnegan and waited for the attack to be unleashed at her. Gakido, Petropath. The Uzumaki called as the Baijudama headed towards her. She held out her palms as the tailed beast bomb neared her. A vacuum-like sphere appeared in front of her palms and began sucking the energy ball. The Baijudama began to shrink as it got sucked by the Gakido. Ugh. This is too much chakra. The Uzumaki thought as the ball got fully absorbed. She now felt dizzy and heavy. What? You absorbed it? AWWW, never mind. We will see if you can absorb another one. The demon laughed as it began to create another tailed beast bomb. The Ichibi blasted it towards the Uzumaki and once again she tried to absorb it, but as it got smaller, about 1/4 the size of it before, it exploded, sending her flying away and crashing into a wall. I am such an idiot. Note to self, The Petra path isn't that effective against Baijudamas. Kushina thought as she scrambled up. She now released the chakra she absorbed earlier and felt light again. Here it comes. She thought as the Ichibi found her and roared towards her. You're still alive? Roar. It forgot about making another tailed beast bomb and simply decided to attack the Uzumaki using physical attacks. Kushina dodged a tail swipe that was aimed towards her, destroying the wall in the process. Alright. You wanna play, huh? She said as she unsheathed her katana. Now, Ichibi-san, let me show you why I'm called the Red Death. She smirked and began laughing maniacally. Let's dance, she said as she bowed and vanished. The Uzumaki began slashing and stabbing at the Ichibi at random spots, vanishing and reappearing with a flash of red. This infuriated the Ichibi, making it roar in frustration. Now, to level up this dance session, she said as she produced 3 shadow clones. The 4 Kushinas charged at the demon and began attacking it relentlessly, while the Shukaku got annoyed and started shooting small-tailed beast bombs at random locations, hoping it will hit the mortal attacking it. Wah! We cannot lose to a mortal, it roared in frustration as the Uzumaki continued on with her dance. Great. I'll just have to tire it so I could begin with the extraction. She thought as she made 5 more clones and had them attack the Ichibi using the 5 different elements. The battle had been ongoing for 10 minutes now. Meanwhile, on the other side of the island, Naruto was watching the storm as they finished erasing the current seal drawn on Gaara. They were now preparing to place a new and stable seal on him. I wonder how Kachan is doing, Naruto said as he looked at the other side of the island where explosions are coming from. She'll be fine. Fu, who was also watching, said. Chome insisted on her coming as she was curious about the new seal the Uzu people were going to apply on the Gaara. Then without warning, Naruto just dropped to the floor unconscious. Naruto-kun, Fu shouted in panic as she tried to wake the boy. Suddenly, Naruto began floating with his head hung low. The storm who was with them watched in awe and fear as Naruto opened his eyes, revealing purple ringed ones. By the gods, Chome said as she watched the scene happen through Fu's eyes. Fu's inner mindscape, what the? How come I can see Naruto-kun on a different point of view? Kurama asked herself and looked around. She noticed that she was on a different place. Who's there? How come you're inside Fu's mind? A voice said. Chome-kun? Kurama asked, recognizing her sister's voice. Kurama-ne-chan. What are you doing here? How is this possible? I do not know. Outside Fu's mindscape, everyone in the area was now shaking in fear as Naruto was radiating a very powerful aura. Fear not, Naruto said as he made the peace sign towards the storm. His voice sounded deep and ancient and echoed. Return to your work. The seal must be ready when I extract the priest from my son. What in the world? Kurama and Chome both said as they watched the scene unfold. Naruto then began floating towards the area where his mother and the Ichibi were battling. Fu. Follow him, Chome said as she channeled her chakra out for Fu. The girl then grew wings and flew after Naruto. Kushina's POV. Kushina had been battling the Ichibi for 20 minutes now and noticed that her attacks were doing little damage. Every time she lands a hit on the Ichibi, a whitish aura comes out of it. She figured that it was some kind of shield. After some time, she found out that it was probably the light that the priest inside Shukaku that was talking about that was protecting it, as she could not recognize it as one of the Ichibi's powers. As she prepared to launch another wave of attack, she felt a very strong chakra signature approaching towards her. She looked at its direction and found her son floating with Fu following after him. She was very shocked as she saw her son's eyes. She found herself unable to move as her son touched her face. My child, let me handle this. Bring the boy here and prepare to reseal my son inside him. I will be the one to extract the priest from Shukaku. Normal POV. Naruto did not wait for a reply and immediately floated towards the Ichibi. What is this? Time for you to go to the afterlife. You have prolonged your stay in this realm. Leave my son be, Naruto said as he floated towards the Shukaku's head and held out his hand. Ninjendo, human path. No. I don't want to go there yet. I am protected by the Lord's light. I shall stay here as he commands. I must prove my existence. A voice said as Naruto began to pull out something that looked like a soul. Soon it materialized and formed into a bald man wearing a suit and tie. Seal, hold, Naruto said as a ghost-like chain wrapped around the priest preventing it from moving. Kushios, Shinigami. A huge spectral form appeared in front of him and bowed. Naruto nodded and held out his arm and motioned at the priest. The creature then bowed and floated towards the mad priest. The priest started to scream in panic as the Shinigami grabbed him. He was eaten and was locked inside its stomach the same way Minato experienced when he sealed the Kyuubi inside Naruto. Now, you are finally free of your burden. Naruto spoke to the Ichibi as it started to stir. Sleep, my son. When you wake, you'll be sealed inside Gaara once again. Be friends with him, he said as his voice started to fade off. Kushina, who was too dumbstruck, did not move earlier to fetch Gaara. She was rooted at her spot and watched as her son talked in a different kind of way and extracted the priest out of Shukaku. Thankfully the storm followed after Naruto and Fu and carried Gaara with them. Kushina began to regain herself as she watched Naruto's aura begin to weaken and return to normal. She was able to catch her son when he finally lost consciousness. Fu's mindscape. Oh, look. What is this? Kurama said as she felt a tugging sensation. I guess I'm going back inside Naruto-kun. Chome, who was also dumbstruck, wasn't able to respond as Kurama vanished and returned to Naruto's mind. Outside Fu's mindscape, everyone was staring at Naruto's unconscious form in disbelief. Most of the storm were still shaken after witnessing the things he did earlier. They were awakened from their stupor as they heard the Shukaku roar. Everyone, on your positions, Kushina said as she made a clone and had it carry Naruto away. Fu followed after them while the Uzumaki in the storm started resealing the Ichibi back inside Gaara. Uzumaki art, double hexagonal seal. 2 hexagonal prisms appeared, one bigger and one smaller. The bigger one floated towards the Ichibi and trapped it inside, while the smaller one floated towards Gaara and did the same thing. A double hexagonal seal appeared on the boy's stomach and connected with the 2 prisms. The bigger prism started to shrink as Shukaku was once again sealed inside Gaara. The seal glowed brightly and slowly died out as the seal began to stabilize. We're done here. Everyone, come with me immediately to my office. The Uzumaki said seriously as she made 2 clones and had the one carry Gaara and the other one go after Fu. The next day Konoha the Hokage was puffing smoke with his pipe as he thought of words to write in his letter for the Mizukage. Shikaku, along with the other clan heads, were also there present. They have been discussing about their planned alliance proposal with Kiri. They have been also waiting for a response from the Iwa and Kumo leaders. Hiyashi have already assured the other people in the room about the caged bird seal. He told them about it being branded on Hinata. Konoha wouldn't have to worry about Kumo now discovering the Byakugan's secrets and making more by having Hinata used by Kumo as a breeding factory. The Uchiha, on the other hand, have expressed their concerns about the Sharingan. Fugaku couldn't care less about his son but was worried about their Kekkei Genkai being stolen by other people not from Konoha. The Hokage straightened up as he finished his letter and called for one Anbu and ordered it to have the letter delivered to Kirigakure. A few seconds after the Anbu left, there was a knock on the door. A Jonin entered the room and handed Sarutobi a scroll. The old monkey inspected it and found the earth seal inscribed on it, meaning it was from the Tsuchikage. Iwagakure has responded. The Hokage announced, calling the attention of everyone inside the room. He unsealed it and read it aloud for everyone in the room to hear. Greetings, Hokage Dono. First of all, I would like to inform you that I am deeply wounded by your words. You accused Iwa of attacking Konoha while my village has nothing to do about it. I too am a man of peace. I do not wish war between the 5 great nations. So I would like to tell you that Iwa is innocent. Second, we have received intelligence about Iwa near your village. I want Konoha to know that those shinobi are rogue and were no longer affiliated with Iwa when the attacks on your village happened. It could be possible that it was them who did it, but once again, I tell you that Iwa has nothing to do about the offensive moves against Konohagakure. I do hope that we could continue the peace between both our villages and clear some misunderstandings that have begun to form. Onoki of both scales, Sundaimate Tsuchikage. The Hokage finished reading and put the scroll down. He stared at the council before him and took a deep breath. Iwa has chosen to play as innocent. He remarked. Hi. We can just pretend that we did not receive the Tsuchikage's reply. Shikaku suggested. I was thinking of the same thing. Ignore the letter and send another one after a few days. Replied Sarutobi. Just then, there was another knock on the door. The person was led inside and handed the Hokage another scroll. Hokage-sama, a message from Kumo. The Jonin said as he presented a scroll with the Rai seal on it. The Hokage took it from the Jonin and unsealed it, reading its content. Compared to the Tsuchikage's message, the Raikage's response was obviously more aggressive and straightforward. Hokage Dono, you are making grave accusations. Kumo does not like it. We may have tried something 3 years ago, but raiding and stealing from Konoha is simply not our style. I have heard about the Ondaime's face getting blown up and the Namikaze and Uzumaki's belongings taken. Kumo has nothing to do with it. Feel free to visit Kumo and inspect every single area here and you will only find nothing. Perhaps you should try considering looking for your lost items again. Search your whole village. I do not wish for our current status to go into an unfriendly state. As the Reikage, I only wish what's best for my village. And including that is not going to war. Yondaime Reikage. Sarutobi just sighed and announced, Kumo also wants to play innocent. But they are obviously hinting war. I think it would be best if we do not respond for now. Our top priority will be Kirigakure. We need to make a deal with the Mizukage. And fast, Shukaku stated, earning nods of agreement from the other clan heads. I did not expect them to respond like this. If we insist about them being guilty it will only give them reason to declare open war. The Hokage said. For now we will need to contact Kiri and make an alliance with them as soon as possible. Hiyashi and Fugaku, I am assigning you two as diplomats to Kirigakure. You will deliver the letter I will be writing and some gifts for them. Understood. The two Dojutsu clan heads replied. Uzushigakure, a day has passed since the incident about Naruto happened. The Uzukage immediately called for a meeting with the storm that was present in the island. She made a strict order for them to keep everything a secret. They are not to tell anyone about what they saw. Kushina also spoke to Fu and also told her the same thing. The girl understood and agreed as Chome also told her to keep things secret. Chome and Kurama were still shocked about what happened and still needed time to think about it. Naruto was currently at the Uzukage mansion, his room surrounded by 3 squads of storm. Ever since his mysterious transformation yesterday, he still hasn't regained consciousness. His mother was now extremely worried for his well-being. Doctors are checking up on him 24/7. Kushina also showed the memory of the events yesterday to her family. After watching the memory, Arashi left the room speechless while Minato, Minako, Narumi, Miho, and Mio remained inside the room with Kushina and discussed about it. Kaede left the room sometime later after hearing Minato and Kushina suggest some theories and went to the library to check some books. Gaara was now stable and had no memories of the events yesterday. He woke up in the morning feeling far better than before. He could hear the Shukaku peacefully snoring inside his mind. Gaara decided to try and contact his bijou later. He was currently with his siblings Kankuro and Tamari strolling around the village. Meanwhile, Sasuke and Hinata were with Fu, currently at a private room in the library reading books about the Uzumaki clan and the Sage of the Six Paths. The Uzukage have already explained to them about their clan's secret dojutsu and some information about it. So here they are, at the library reading for more information while waiting for their friend Naruto to recover since nobody was allowed to enter his room except the Uzukage, her husband, the former Uzukage, and the head of the storm. Uzushigakure office a Kushina clone was currently doing paperwork while her original was watching over Naruto. Minato was also at the office reading books about the sage's connection with the tailed beasts, while he was also helping the Kushina clone at the same time. Just then, a ripple of water appeared on the floor and on it a kneeling figure appeared. Uzukage-sama, we have received intelligence about Konoha contacting Kumo and Iwa. The Hokage planned on blackmailing them but apparently it backfired. Here are the copies of the message and their responses. The watery figure said as it took out 4 scrolls and handed it to the Uzukage. The Kushina clone and Minato unsealed the scrolls and read them. After reading, the clone dispelled herself and transferred the memories to the original. Good. Kumo and Iwa will be acting cold against Konoha while the Leaf will do the same. Their relationship with each other will be now on thin ice that is about to break. When the time comes, it will be easier for Uzushigakure to destroy them all at the same time. The Uzukage thought to herself as she waited for Naruto to wake up. A few days have passed since Gaara's seal had been fixed. Naruto woke up 2 days later with no recollection of what happened. The Uzukage then decided to keep it secret from him for his own good. Fu had been told not to tell Naruto and through their mental link, Chome also told Kurama not to mention it to her host. Life in Uzushigakure became nicer for Naruto as he has now more friends around his age. There were also 2 Jinka Urikis like him who will become a part of his life as he grows older. Naruto and his friends have started learning about the basic fundamentals of chakra with the help of some tutors. Since Naruto already knew about the basics, he along with Sasuke had been grouped with Tamari and Kankuro for some history lessons and theories while they waited for the others to catch up. Uzushigakure Academy. The school semester will begin in a week. Naruto and the others have been enrolled and were currently taking an orientation. Their proctor was currently telling them about the ranking system. Now, here in Uzushigakure, our standards are higher compared to the other schools from other villages. Students take 7 years of studying in the academy. Those who just started school are called academy students. After 3 years as an academy student, they must take a test to be able to go to their 4th year. If they pass the test, they will be now registered to the village as genins. In their 4th year, students are teamed with other students. Each team consists of 3 genins and an instructor. Here they will now begin doing simple missions and apply everything they have learned in their first 3 years as an academy student while also learning to work with a team. During the first 3 months of their 4th year, the instructor will observe the team and see if they are compatible with each other. In this stage, team members could still be changed if the instructor finds them incompatible. As they progress to their 6th year, they should be now prepared to do missions outside the village. In their 7th and final year, they will be now taking missions outside the village. Here they will be sent to other villages to spy, assassinate, steal, or deliver something. If they survive the year, they will now graduate the academy and will be registered with the rank of High Jinan or Chunin depending on their performance for their 7 years. The proctor said as he stopped walking and faced Naruto and his group. If you're confused, here is a brochure about the level system. The proctor then gave them a leaflet about the ranking system. Naruto and his friends took a copy and read. Year level and rank, Year 1, Grade 1 Academy Student Year 2, Grade 2 Academy Student Year 3, Grade 3 Academy Student Year 4, Grade 1 Jinan Year 5, Grade 2 Jinan Year 6, Grade 3 Jinan Year 7, Senior Jinan Graduate, High Jinan or Low Chunin. Are you guys finished? Good. Moving on. The proctor then opened the door and led them outside the room. The proctor then led them to a huge open area. Here's our track and field area. Physical education classes are usually held here. Seals have been applied to the ground for changing the terrain depending on what kind of body training the class is having. For example, if I want to strengthen my resistance to cold. The proctor then made hand seals and slammed his palms to the ground. The field then turned into a frozen field. Snow began to fall and the winds picked up, sending chilling breezes. The proctor made a single hand seal and returned the terrain back to normal. There. You guys got it? Good. Moving on. Next they went to another huge open area. Here's our school's training ground number 1. Ninjutsu classes are usually held here. The grounds of this area had been applied with repairing seals. After every session, the ground automatically restores itself. They moved on to the next and were now beside a lake. This is our training ground number 2, also used for ninjutsu classes. Here students also learn water walking and other things related to Suitenjutsus. Next is our training ground number 3. The proctor then led them to a huge forest. This is where students do the combined sparring, taijutsu, ninjutsu, kenjutsu, and other shinobi related things. Capture the flag, defend the base, capture the base, war games, stealth, and other things are done here. Like the training ground number 1, seals have been also applied here. The difference now is that the seals restore and reconstruct the area. Every week, the terrain changes to another so the students will get used to different kinds of unfamiliar areas and new ones. The proctor then said, "Imagine if the area doesn't change, that will be boring, right? We will get so used to it and learn nothing new. Now if the area changes, students will learn to adapt to new areas and it will be easier for them when they go outside on their 7th year. You guys get my point? Perfect. Now let us move on." The proctor then led the group to a building. The building was huge with divisions for each section on it. Here's our dojo. This is where we learn kenjutsu. During your years as a student, you will learn to use different kinds of weapons. You will be prompted to choose a primary weapon, but you'd still be required to learn using everything. Alright. Let's move on. The proctor then led the group back to the first building where they held the orientation. The group followed him to a room about the size of a regular classroom. Alright. This room is applied with seals that will transport us to another location. The proctor said as he activated a switch and the room glowed red as the seals activated. Soon the group found themselves on a very large clearing. On a far side there was a forest. On the other side there was a lake. Another side was a group of mountains with lava flowing down. On the last side were a huge gathering of storm clouds. Naruto and his friends inspected their new area in awe and with interest. "Where are we?" asked Fu. "My dear students, welcome to training ground number 4. This is where you will be training with your summons. As you have learned from your Uzoshiyogaku orientation, all villagers, civilians and shinobi alike, are bound to a personal summon. For students, this is where we train with our summons. Here you will learn collaborating attacks with them, fighting with them, and also strengthening your bonds with them. Now, please follow me," the proctor said as they headed to the forest. After about 10 minutes of walking, they stopped in front of a medium-sized 2-story cabin. "Now, this is where our orientation ends," he said as the door of the house opened. "Welcome, everyone. I hope you liked your orientation," a familiar voice said. "Ka-chan. To-chan." Naruto squealed in excitement. "What are you doing here?" "Well, since you're all new to Uzumaki and entering the academy, you'll need summons. We're here to have you sign your summoning contract." The Uzumaki replied as she took out a scroll from her pocket. "All right," Naruto exclaimed as he pumped his fist in the air. "What shall we do?" Kushina just smiled at her son as Minato opened the door of the cabin and ushered the group inside. "We will have lunch first. Come in." Naruto and his group followed inside and were amazed by the house. It looked more spacious compared to how it looked outside. They were also greeted by Naruto's siblings as they got into the dining area. "Ne-chan, Ni-san. What are you doing here?" Naruto asked his siblings happily. "Well, since you're finally having your contract with the dragons active, we're here to accompany you," Minako replied. "The ceremony requires all family members of the Uzukage's family present if one of them is signing the contract," Narumi explained. "And besides, we can't miss our baby Search Brothers' initiation with the Dragon Clan, can we?" Mio and Miho both said. "All right, let's have lunch," Kushina said as servers entered the room carrying platters of food. Tsunade outskirts a mild sandstorm was brewing at the desert. Sand dust flew all over as the winds picked up. A lone hooded figure could be barely seen as it walked hurriedly towards the city's walls. As it got nearer, it looked around and checked if there were sentries watching. Finding none, the hooded figure took out a kunai and a scaling rope with a hook from his robe. The unknown person walked nearer to the wall and prepared to throw the rope. Before the intruder could toss it up, he exploded into blood and gore. Tsunade main gate. 3 gate guards were stationed at the main gate. 2 of them watched in a far distance as the sandstorm blew. The silence was broken when their other companion called for their attention as he saw the seal glow. There was a miniature city placed by the desk in the guard house. A certain part of the wall in the mini-city was glowing red. "Look! An intruder," he said as he pointed at the glowing area. "Call for the Anbu." "All right. You stay here," one of the 2 said. "I'll report to the Kazakage immediately." "You go to the Anbu," the other one said. The 2 guards jumped off towards the village and left their other companion alone. Tsunade Hospital, cremation room. 20 minutes later we found his remains by the southern wall. "Here are the spy's scrolls," an Anbu reported as the Kazakage took the scrolls and began to read some. So this one's from Konoha, eh? They have sent a spy since we were not responding to any of their messages. They would not leave us alone in peace. It's a great thing you and the Uzukage-sama did the protective seals, Kazakage-sama," commented the Anbu captain. "Indeed. The barrier has been very helpful. I'm so glad my predecessor did not mess with Uzumaki back during the war. Now we're benefiting greatly with them as our ally." The Kazakage sighed and walked to the door. "I'll be back to my office. If there are more of these spies, report to me immediately." "Hi," the Anbu replied as they prepared to burn the remains. Konoha flashback. The next day after the letters to Iwa and Kumo was sent. "Hokage office Sosuna hasn't responded to any of our messages?" a white-haired man asked. "Yes. They have been silent. I wonder what they are up to." Sarutobi replied as he puffed smoke. "There is something else you should know," Jiraiya said. "And that is? I haven't received reports from any of our spies in Suna. None at all. That's troubling news. If they have discovered our spies, then we'll receive no intel regarding Suna and the Kazakage's movements. I'm thinking of sending another spy from the network. Our spies inside Suna may have not been discovered yet. It is possible that Suna could be on a lockdown at the moment. Konoha's treaty with Suna is known to most villages. It is possible that they are simply trying to keep to themselves at the moment in fear of getting hit by our mysterious enemies as well. Yes, you should send a new one inside. But if you're going to do that, you will need to send something with your spy that can immediately report back to us. A summoning toad can work. Yes. A small one though. Alright. I'll have the spy bring a toad with him when he infiltrates Suna." Flashback and present time, Hokage office. The Hokage was currently reading an orange book and was giggling like a girl. He did not notice when a white-haired man entered his office by the window. "I see you liked my new book," Jiraiya commented as he sat opposite the Hokage's desk. "Haha, yes. It has been quite some time since I've read your books," Sarutobi chuckled as he put down the Icha book. "Whoever those attackers are, they probably hate you too. Whoever they are, I will never forgive them for destroying my masterpieces." The great white-haired pervert sighed as he recalled that tragic night. Anyway, to business. You're back. Any news? The Hokage asked as he lit his pipe and began puffing smoke. As a matter of fact I have. But I bring dire news. Sarutobi just sighed and took a long inhale from his pipe. Alright, tell me about it. I was summoned to Mount Myobaku just about 15 minutes ago. The toads informed me that the toad I sent with the spy was killed. When it returned to Mount Myobaku, the toad was all blood and gore. How is that even possible? The Hokage asked, horrified. Whatever happened to the toad, it must have been the same with the spy. They couldn't have discovered about the toad since it would have dismissed itself back immediately. They were most likely taken unawares, and by a very strong attack if they were turned into blood and gore. This is troubling news. We're not even sure if we could still trust them. They just shut us off. I can only hope that they are simply being overly cautious. But no, considering the things that have occurred, and as the Hokage, I must assume that they have gone hostile against us, Sarutobi said as he glared at the book he was reading earlier. Relax. You are being paranoid. And I understand why. But we cannot just assume that Tsunade has gone right against us. The Kazakage knows that they are no match against the might of Konoha. Oh. I don't know. You may be right. I'm being too paranoid. Or I may be right about Tsunade. The old monkey just sighed and puffed on his pipe once more. The pervert Sanin just shook his head and took out a book similar to the old monkey was reading. Uzoshiogakur, Cabin at the Forest. The Uzumaki Namikaze family and Naruto's friends finished their lunch and headed back to the clearing where they came earlier. They formed into a circle as Kushina and Minato stood a distance away from the group. Are you guys ready? Kushina asked. Yes. Naruto and his group replied excitedly as the Uzukage took out the scroll from her pocket. The Uzukage and Minato simultaneously bit their thumb and made hand seals and then slammed the ground. Kushios no Jutsu. No less than 5 seconds later the area was now covered in smoke. Naruto and his friends waited for the smoke to disperse. When it did, they noticed that the ground looked darker. They soon realized that it was a shadow as it was moving. They looked up and were astounded when they saw the creature about 5 times bigger than the Kyuubi. It was floating in the sky and was encircling at them. Its beautiful scales gleamed as the sun's rays reflected at it. Its head was also a great sight to see as it had what looked like an amethyst crystal on the top of it between its long horns. Slowly it floated down and had its body encircle the area. The head lowered near Kushina and Minato and bowed at them. You have called. The couple bent down in one knee and bowed their heads. Toyota Mahime, Narumi, Minako, Mio, and Miho followed their parents' example and went down in one knee. Naruto and the others noticed and they too bowed. Rise. The creature said. Kushina and Minato did as ordered and spoke. We have summoned you to ask you to take us to Terra. Here with us are new academy students in need of a partner. Also, my whole family is here to present Naruto, my youngest son, to your father, Watatsumi-sama. Naruto? The Lost Maelstrom? Yes, hi. Ooh. How exciting. So you've finally found him. The dragon said as it looked at Naruto. Come forward. Naruto gulped and stared at the creature. It's alright, Naruto-kun. Do not be afraid, Narumi said, encouraging her little search brother. Naruto then shakily walked forward and approached the dragon. It is alright my dear child, do not be afraid. I am Toyotama, the daughter of the dragon god, Watatsumi. The princess then stared at the boy in silence. Nobody else dared interrupt or make a noise. After about 3 minutes, the dragon spoke again. For long we have waited. And now you're finally here. Everyone, come to me. She ordered and waited for the rest of the group to come near. Good. Now, I want you all to ride at my head. Sit down by the crystal. Minato and Kushina assisted the children getting up. They hopped on last and the dragon spoke once again. Good. Now, hold on tight. We are going to Terra, Toyotama said as she uncoiled and floated to the heavens. Terra, the place of the dragons. Welcome, my dear humans, to Terra, land of the dragons. Toyota Mahime said as they flew past 2 huge mountains that were made of white crystals. Those who were new stared at the place in amazement. Everywhere they look, they could see different types of crystals and gems scattered all over the lands. There were lots of mountains and caves that they assumed were also filled with precious earthen materials. Finally they reached the topmost mountain of the place where there was a huge palace made of pure gold. The princess hovered by the balcony and let the humans disembark. She then bid them goodbye for the moment and floated towards the top tower of the castle. Naruto and the others were staring at the huge golden castle in awe. Soon about 20 guards marched out from the main gate and formed to an island abode. The guards were wearing armor that looked like scales and were also made of crystals. Welcome, newcomers. Welcome summoners. Watatsumi-sama's waiting for you. Please come in. They all said in unison. Kushina and Minato led the group while the guards followed behind. Soon they entered a huge throne room where a man wearing great armor also made of precious crystals sat on a golden throne. The man was wearing a crystal white crown and had horns that looked like a gem. He had a red-orange colored gemstone shaped into a hexagon on the middle of his forehead. His eyes were the same color as the crystal on his forehead. Next to him sitting was a beautiful woman wearing a long gown. The gown was made of small diamonds and mithril all stitched and chained together. She was wearing an amethyst crown that also had horns. On her forehead was a hexagonal amethyst. There were also other people in the room also wearing clothing made of precious gems and crystals. The group moved forward and Kushina and Minato bent in one knee. The others followed their example and also bowed. Rise. The man on the throne spoke in a deep and powerful voice. Watatsumi-sama. Kushina and Minato murmured. My dear summoners. Welcome back to Terra. It has been a long time since the last time you visited. We have been busy. The Dragon King chuckled and replied, Ah, yes. I understand. Mortal affairs can be sometimes troublesome. Kushina and Minato laughed and then nodded. I heard from my daughter about the lost maelstrom. I would like to see him. Of course, Watatsumi-sama. Kushina replied as Minato ushered Naruto forward. The boy shakily walked forward and then bent in one knee. Rise, my dear one. The king ordered and the boy followed. I am Watatsumi, the king and god of the dragons. Sitting beside me is my daughter, Toyotama. The king indicated at the beautiful woman as she smiled warmly at the boy. The boy's eyes widened circles as he stared at the two in awe. Whoa! You can turn into humans, Naruto exclaimed excitedly, making the two chuckle. Yes, my dear one. We dragons also have our human forms. In your world we appear as dragons. But here, we assume our human forms and do our daily businesses like you humans do. Wow. Come closer, dear boy. Naruto did as ordered and presented himself to the king and the princess. Watatsumi stared at him in silence for some time. After a long silence, he stood up from his throne. Toyotama also stood up and followed her father's actions as he bowed to Naruto. For long we have waited. The Dragon King murmured as he and her daughter bent in one knee to the boy. The other dragons in human form who were in the room followed and bowed down. Everyone, especially Naruto, was confused. Kushina and Minato were thinking hard as they do not remember the same thing happening to them or their other family members when they presented themselves to the Dragon King. Could it be? Kurama, Chome, and Shikaku, who were watching through their host's eyes, wondered the same thing. Watatsumi then once again stood up and the others followed. Welcome, Uzumaki Namikaze Naruto. The king said. The other dragons in the room said the same thing and then applauded. Ah. And now, the other new young ones. Please step forward. Fu and the others did as followed and bowed. The king inspected them all one by one. He stared at Fu and Gara longer compared to the others. You have passed the test. You all are worthy of signing the dragon contract. Everyone smiled happily while Naruto was a bit confused. What do you mean? What kind of test? The king simply chuckled at the girl while the princess smiled. It was Toyotama who answered her. The test was simple. We read through your hearts and your mind. And all of you have pure souls. Your very first test was when we arrived at the gates. That was the two mountains. I was feeling your emotions and felt no darkness in it. You saw the precious gems and crystals and yet you did not feel taking them. The princess said. You see, the king spoke. Greed is one of the greatest enemies of a human being. Here in Terra, greed is the greatest enemy of a dragon summoner. If you have it in your heart, then you are not worthy of signing the contract and will be banished from this place forever. I understand, Naruto said as he made a thinking pose. So if a human is greedy, he will only want the contract so he could return here and take all the crystals. There is also a chance that he could bring other humans to invade the place and take the precious items here for themselves. Well spoken. You are showing great intellect at your age. The king commented. Thank you, Watatsumi-sama. I just love reading a lot of books. It helps me expand my knowledge. Knowledge is power, my dear boy. A dragon lives long and gains a lot of knowledge as it grows older. The older a dragon gets, the wiser it also becomes. You see, we dragons are what you humans can call walking libraries. We know a lot of things and you are free to ask us anything as long as we feel that your questions are worthy of answering. Wow. So having the dragon contract is really great then. One could learn many things. That's true. Now enough chit-chat. I'm sure you and your friends can no longer wait to sign the contract now. The king smiled as he took out a huge scroll and an obsidian dagger. "Here, make a small cut on your right palm and smear the blood on the scroll." Naruto then excitedly did as ordered. Moments after he smeared his blood on the scroll, golden letters appeared on it spelling the name Uzumaki Namikaze Naruto with the kanji for second beside it. Kurama, who was watching, wondered. Second? Naruto-kun's the second. Hold on, if I remember correctly, Tosan was the first summoner of the Dragon Clan and his personal summon was Watatsumi-sama. Perfect. The Dragon King said as he took the scroll and put it back to his robe. He then took out another one and motioned for the others to come forward. Fu was the second to sign and was followed by Gaara. Hinata signed next and then Sasuke. Tamari was a bit nervous at first but signed anyway. Kankuro was the last to sign. When they all finished signing, Watatsumi took the scroll and kept it to his robe. "Alright then," Toyotama said. "Please come with Shen and he will lead you out the castle. You will be now matched with your personal summon." A man wearing emerald clothing walked forward and introduced himself. "I'm Shen. Please follow me." The children then began to follow him outside but stopped when the king cleared his throat and called for their attention. "Naruto, please remain here." The boy then walked back to his parents' side and waited for the king to speak while his friends were led outside by Shen. "Right. How do I start?" "Oh, right. Anyway, Uzumaki Namikaze Naruto. You were supposed to be here 5 years ago. But because of some unfortunate events, your presentation here was delayed. Normally, the Ozukage's family members are presented to every dragon in Terra, whether they're already bound to one summoner or not. Your case, however, is different. The moment I saw you, I knew there was something special about you. Unfortunately, I cannot tell you nor your family about it. You shall be the ones to discover." Now, you were probably wondering why you signed on a different scroll. The answer is simple. Watatsumi trailed off as he stood up and drew a hidden sword from his robes. The Dragon King raised the sword and then struck it to the floor. He then faced the boy and bent on one knee. "Uzumaki Namikaze Naruto, I, Watatsumi, Ryujin, King of Terra, will be your personal summon. I pledge to you my undying loyalty and friendship. Uzumaki Namikaze Naruto, I, Toyotama Hime, daughter of Ryujin, will also be your personal summon. I pledge to you my undying loyalty and friendship." The princess said as she too took out a sword out of nowhere and did the same thing her father did. Everyone, especially Naruto, was surprised by this. Kushina and Minato were shocked but were also happy for their son. Naruto's siblings were simply amazed. They knew about their parents' personal contract with the princess. However, hearing the king proclaim himself as Naruto's personal summon was simply amazing and shocking. From this day forth, you are now under the protection of the whole Dragon Clan. You now have the authority to summon every single one of us whenever you wish. Shall you need us in any kind of situation, we will be there to aid you," the king said as he stood up. The princess also stood up as her father held out his hand. "Receive the seal of the Uzumaki Ryu Pact." Naruto felt a burning sensation on his left arm and watched as markings appeared. For about 5 minutes, everyone watched in silence as his left arm got covered by markings that soon formed into an obsidian dragon. The dragon glowed for some time and finally vanished, the boy's left arm now looking normal like it was before. That seal symbolizes of your contract with the Dragon Clan. It will remain invisible and will only show up when you perform the jutsu for summoning. Watatsumi explained. "Now, time for you to receive your personal seal with me and my daughter." He and Toyotama both held out their arms and spoke. "Receive the seal of your personal summon." This time, it was Naruto's right arm that glowed and got covered by markings. 2 dragons began to form. One was golden and the other one silver. After some time the seals vanished and his skin returned to normal. "Now that we are finished, I have something to tell you while the children are finding their matches. Follow me," the king said as he led the family to another room. "Please be comfortable and take your seats. Now, to business. Kushina and Minato, as you may have already know, Morio, the Demon King has been summoned back to life. We dragons could feel his presence from here. He is slowly growing stronger by the day. I'm bringing up this matter now because what happens in a few weeks lies the search fate of the world. Also, since you are the leader of the Uzumaki clan, this concerns your clan a lot. As wielders of the Rinnegan it is your duty to maintain balance to the world. If Morio rises to full power, well, you know what happens. We understand that. In fact, we were set to leave for Uni no Kuni after Naruto-kun signs the contract." "That's good. Now, here's something you need to know. Morio's resealing this time will require the power of your whole family. You, Minato, and your children must go together. The king then spoke to the youngest. Naruto. Before you go to Demon Country, you must first get the grasp of summoning. Watatsumi then explained, Morio is a godly being. Last time, he was sealed by the priestess with the use of her powers. But now he has come back, and this time he is stronger than before. You will need the assistance of another god. Now, I don't want you to think that I'm underestimating your clan's powers. I know about the wonders of the Rinnegan as it also a power of a god. However, something tells me that you will have to rely on your other skills without using your Rinnegan. Since your clan is known as a clan of seal masters, there will be no problem. The only way to defeat Morio is by combining your sealing with me strengthening it to a godly level. Also, I would like to state of an ancient law that I'm sure some of you already know. A god or goddess must not involve themselves into human matters. That law, however, can be bypassed. Since I am bound to Naruto, I have the rights to visit the mortal world and get involved into this matter without breaking the law. This is why Naruto must master the art of summoning fast. Excuse me, Watatsumi-sama, Naruto said. How am I going to learn it fast if we also need to take care of Morio soon? That's a good question. The Dragon King smiled as he called for one of his servants watching by the door. Please summon Akira. Hi. The guard bowed and left the room. Only a few minutes passed, then the door once again opened and a woman wearing white armor entered. You called, my lord? Yes. This is Uzumaki Namikaze Naruto. The king said, indicating at the boy. You'll be training him with the summoning jutsu. You will use one of our special rooms to hasten his training. Naruto, this is Akira, one of my lieutenants. She will be the one to train you. Understood. Please follow me. The boy looked at his parents and waited for their approval. His family just smiled at him, encouraging him to go. Where are we going? Naruto asked as he and Akira exited the room and walked through the corridors. We are going to train inside a special room where time is different from here. Say for example, if we are going to train there inside for a week, only 7 minutes will have passed here once we go out. I see. So a minute here is a day inside? Exactly. Cool, Naruto said, making Akira smile. They walked for a few more minutes as the castle was huge. Naruto was unable to memorize the way they went as there were lots of turns and stairs. Finally they stopped in front of a corridor with 3 curtains at the far end. Akira walked towards the curtain in the middle and motioned for Naruto to enter first. The boy excitedly went through the curtain with Akira following behind. Time skip, 30 minutes later the middle curtain moved and on it came out a boy and a woman in armor. The boy looked a bit taller now compared earlier and his hair longer. His body physique also improved. The woman was smiling proudly as they walked back to the room where the boy's family was waiting. Ka-chan. Naruto excitedly called as he ran back to the room. Naruto-kun. Kushina stood up and hugged her son. She released him and inspected her baby boy. Look at you. You've grown taller. And your hair, you're starting to look more like your father. So how was your training? Minato inquired as he smiled at his son fondly. It was great. We were in there for a month. Akira-sensei helped me strengthen up my physique. My chakra pool has also increased during the training. On my first week though, it was difficult. But I got used to the routine sensei made for me. Kurama-chan also helped me with my training as she helped me heal faster and replenish my lost energy and chakra. And now I can easily summon a dragon. The only thing now I haven't practiced yet is summoning Watatsumi-sama himself. Well done, Naruto. And thank you Akira, said the king, bowing to his lieutenant. It has been a great honor teaching him. He is a great student. Akira replied. Naruto's family also thanked the woman before she excused herself. I'll see you again soon, sensei, and thank you for teaching me, Naruto said as he hugged the woman. Akira then made a last bow and exited. So, Naruto-kun. Narumi called. Yes, Ne-chan? You think you're ready now? She smirked. Ha. You bet. Let's go kick some demon's ass. Ha ha ha. That's the spirit, Minako laughed as he and Naruto high-fived. Shall we make a little contest on who summons the most dragons? Said Miho, grinning. Hey, that's unfair. You've been training longer. But you said you're strong already. And your chakra pool has grown larger. Mio replied. Ne-chan. Naruto whined. The dragons and the Uzumaki Namikaze just laughed at the siblings' traded banners. Don't worry Naruto-kun, if they're serious about it remember that you got me. Ha 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 ha. Kurama laughed evilly as she spoke through their link. Hey! You're right. Naruto replied as he smirked evilly at his siblings. Someone's got that look. Narumi chanted, making the others laugh again. Alright, that's enough. I think the others have already matched with their personal summons. Kushina interrupted. Yes. Come now, let us go back to the throne room. When the others return, we are going to have a feast in honor of Uzumaki Namikaze Naruto. Kirigakura, they're here. A gate guard said as he and his partner watched the Konoha diplomats approach. So, they have sent both clan heads of their dojutsu clans. A beautiful red-haired woman commented. You know them, Mei-senpai? A Kirionbu captain asked. Beside the woman was a tall man with long black hair, carrying 3 swords on his back. Yes. Mei replied. The Konoha group was now by the gates. Welcome, Konoha. Welcome to Kirigakura. The woman greeted. I am Terumi Mei, the Ondame Mizakage's right hand and successor. With me is my husband, Rikaudo. Please follow me. The group then headed to the Mizakage tower with the Anbu flanking them. Mizakage office, Mizakage-sama. Hiyashi and Fugaku bowed. Welcome, Hiyashi of the Hyuga clan and Fugaku of the Uchiha clan. Yagura nodded. Now, enough of this pleasantries and let us get started to business. The 2 clan heads smiled and nodded and took out 2 scrolls. We have come here in hopes of forging an alliance with you. Konoha has a lot to offer in terms of trade and resources. What sort of things will Kiri get with this proposed alliance? One is resources, as we have said. We could open and establish trading routes straight from the land of fire to the land of water. You may now easily acquire the supplies that you don't usually find in your lands. Also, we promise you of cheap and easy bargains that you will find great. Hiyashi explained. Another is methods and teaching styles. We are willing to share our ways in our academy and training with you, Fugaku said. As part of that, we are also willing to share some of our jutsus. As a sign of our honesty and willingness for the alliance, we have brought you gifts, Hiyashi said as he and Fugaku each handed him 1 scroll. It was Mei who took the scrolls and passed one to the man beside her earlier to inspect. Rikaudo checked the scroll for traps and when he found it clean, he handed it back to his wife. Finding both scrolls safe, she finally gave it to the Mizakage. The Mizakage then took the scrolls and opened one of it. His eyes got big as he read it. This is, Yagura whispered and stared at the 2 Konoha diplomats. Hiyashi and Fugaku only smiled and nodded at the young leader, urging him to open the other scroll. Kami-sama. These are. The Mizakage trailed off as he sat back to his chair. He gave the scrolls to Mei to read. The woman's reaction was unreadable as she had an impassive look on her face. Her husband, Rikaudo, took notice and immediately knew that whatever was in that scroll, it made Mei angry. She was just good at not showing it. Mei handed him the scrolls to read and when he read it, he just sighed and handed them back to the Mizakage. To give us this as a gift. This is very valuable. Yagura finally spoke again. That is how much we are willing to give for our alliance to be forged. This is too much. Mei commented. Hiyashi just smiled while Fugaku replied, of course it is. But we do not mind. I'm sure you do realize that this is only a copy, right? Hiyashi asked Yagura. Of course. He smiled. If you don't mind, I would like to be left alone for now to think. You can have these back for now, he said as he gave them back the scrolls. Hiyashi and Fugaku took one each and put them back inside their robes. Mei and Rikaudo will lead you out. They will be your guide while you're here. Feel free to look around the village. I'm sure you'll find something you'd like. Thank you, Mizakage-sama. We're hoping for a good result once you're done thinking things over. Hiyashi and Fugaku both said bowing and then left the room with the couple leading them out. Time skip. The next day Oni no Kuni the family was now entering the demon borders. They were all wearing traveling cloaks to keep their identities hidden. The Uzukage have left clones back in her office to do the paperwork. Kaede have been informed of their journey and was asked to double the security in the village while they were away. Fu and the others practiced doing the summoning jutsu with Tobi excitedly watching over them. When they returned from their match finding, they were amazed and happy for Naruto when they found out who his personal summon was. They were also told of the mission to Oni no Kuni and understood why Naruto had to be trained fast. While waiting for the Uzukage and her family to return, Fu and the others decided to train hard to catch up to Naruto. How much farther? Naruto asked, obviously bored. Minato chuckled and replied, we're almost there, Naruto-kun. Just about 20 kilometers more. The boy just sighed and looked forward. Finally, after a long distance of traveling, a castle started to get into view. As they got nearer, they were greeted by about 20 people armed with bows and swords. Some of them were carrying torches to light their way as it was already dark. Welcome, descendants of the Rikadu Sennin. I am Teruo. The priestess is waiting for you. Please, follow me. How did they know about us? Naruto whispered. The priestess. Narumi replied. What? How? Naruto asked, still confused. It is one of her powers. She can see the future. Minako explained. Thank you, Teruo-san. Please lead us to the priestess. Kushina told Teruo. Teruo nodded to his men and surrounded the family in a protective circle as they walked to the castle. Priestess compound. The family was led into a huge room. Sitting at the far side of it was the priestess. Beside her sat a little girl about the same age as Naruto. Welcome, Kushina Uzumaki. Welcome, Minato Namikaze. It is a great pleasure to see you again. It has been years since the last time we met. The priestess smiled as she opened her arms to hug the two. Miraku-san, it has been years indeed, Kushina said as she returned the hug. Ah, look at how time passed. Minato smiled. Ha, yes. I remember you two when we were still genins. You two were always fighting. Now look at you two. I've always known you would end up together. Miraku laughed as she remembered the time when they were still young and free of their current responsibilities. By the way, here are our children. Narumi, my firstborn. Minako, my second. Mio and Miho, my twins. And lastly, my youngest son, Naruto. Here's my daughter, Shion. I believe your youngest is the same age as her. Naruto then decided to walk forward and offered his hand to the girl. Hello. I'm Uzumaki Namikaze Naruto. And I am the future Uzukage, believe it. Shion just stared at him and began to blush. Her face turned red like a tomato. Naruto stared at the girl and got strongly reminded him of someone he knew. He later realized that Shion and Hinata looked exactly the same. Their facial expressions were also the same when blushing. It was only their hair and their eyes that will tell them apart if they were together. The girl slowly reached out, shook Naruto's hand. Hi. I'm Shion. It's so nice to meet you, and Naruto-kun, she stuttered while still blushing. Everyone who were watching got amused with the two's interaction. Miraku was a little surprised as she never heard her daughter stutter before. Kushina just smiled while Minato and Naruto's siblings were smirking at each other. Even Kurama, who was watching through the link, was laughing hard. Oh my. Naruto-kun has found another member of his fan club. It just grows bigger whenever he meets someone new. And Naruto-kun. Would you like to take a tea tour around the compound with me? Shion asked. Tour? Yeah, sure. Shion looked up to her mother for permission and grinned when Miraku smiled and nodded. The girl took Naruto's hand and dragged him out of the room. When the two were out of earshot, the elders in the room laughed. Naruto's siblings high-fived with each other. They now have someone new to tease their little search brother with. Narumi, Minako, Mio, Miho. Kushina called. Your father and I would like to talk with the priestess alone. Please wait outside and watch over Naruto-kun. Of course, Ka-chan. They all replied in unison as they went out to spy on Naruto. Time skip, 2 days later. Wait, what? Time skip? Why? Yeah, I know. Calm down guys. Just read down to the author's notes. Uzoshiogaku or the Uzumaki Namikaze family have successfully resealed the Demon King, Morio, back to his realm and made sure he would never resurface to the land of the mortals again. The Uzukage was currently at the council room briefing them of the events that happened in Oni no Kuni. Meanwhile, two cloaked figures walked towards the village's gates. Council room. The Uzukage just finished her story when Kaede entered the room. Excuse me, Uzukage-sama. They are here. They bring urgent news. All right. Council dismissed. We will talk again tomorrow. The Uzukage said as she stood up. Where are they? She asked Kaede. They're waiting for you at your office. Uzukage office. The two cloaked figures were inside the office waiting for the storm commander to return with the Uzukage. After a few minutes the door opened and Kaede, Kushina, and Minato entered. It has been so long. Kushina addressed the two. Indeed. Uzoshiogaku has grown. You have done great as the Uzukage, Imoto. A woman's voice replied. The Uzukage walked forward and hugged the cloaked woman. I missed you so much, Mei-chan. I missed you too, Ku-chan. So how's Kaede, is he giving you trouble? Mei jokingly asked. Yeah, I missed you too, Nei-chan. Kaede smirked as he hugged the woman who was now revealed to be Mei Terumi. Ricardo-san. How are you? Minato asked as he shook the other cloaked figure's hand. I'm doing great, Minato-san. Please, let us take our seats. Kushina offered. The two visitors took off their cloaks and sat opposite the Uzukage's desk. All right. Let us get straight to business, Kushina said. Right. Mei replied. We bring news from Kirin about Konoha as well. Uzumaki would like to propose an alliance once we have dealt with the threat of Morio and his followers. Kushina, my friend, I have seen in my vision that Oni no Kuni and Numa no Kuni, land of swamps, will be under the flag of Uzu. My country will become better and strong under your leadership. Replied the priestess. A good vision then. Commented Minato. The three chuckled while Miraku agreed. Yes. I understand your role as descendants of the sage. I will help you with your quest. Balance has been absent for long. But soon, when you emerge again, Konoha will be the first to receive retribution. We have an understanding then, said Kushina. Yes. Oni no Kuni and Numa no Kuni will not just be allies of Uzu, but will become under its flag. The renaming of your country will be up to you, Miraku-san, said Minato. In my vision, when the country becomes a part of Uzu, the whole land will be placed with seals to seal off all demons forever, thus making it no longer a land of demons. Also, I've seen whirlpools surrounding my country to protect itself from intruders. An extension of Uzumaki indeed. The couple mused. Yes, I propose for Oni and Numi to become official as one and rename to Uzumaki. Very well. We have an agreement. Hi. Before we go, I would also like to tell you about another vision. Oh. And that is? You'll be sending 2 squads of Storm to Konoha to save 2 children. One of them is a girl, who's the last of their clan that specializes in genjutsu. This girl is born with a weak body and has a problem with her head. The other is a boy, who's born without chakra but still wishes to become a shinobi. I've seen them trying to enroll to Konoha's academy but was not allowed to due to their conditions. They will become great assets to Uzu. I see. Thank you for that information. I will have the 2 identified and rescued from Konoha's clutches. Priestess compound, outside. And then I was rescued and brought to Uzushio. There I started to have a good life. Naruto finished his story about himself as he and Shion sat by the rock near the castle's koi pond. Oh. And here I thought I've had the worst life. I'm so sorry, Naruto-kun. Hey, it's alright. You do not have to apologize, you know. It is Konoha's fault. Yeah. You're right. Of course I am. Naruto cheered, making Shion giggle. Anyway, what about you? Me? Well, I grew up alone. I had no friends to call since everyone my age is scared of me. I only have my mother and my personal assistants with me. But even my assistants are scared of me. Why? I have this power where I can see people's deaths as well as mine. I see what will happen before they are put to grave danger. Oh. I understand if you're scared of me now. The girl whispered sadly as she bowed her head. Hey, don't be sad. I'm not scared of you. I think it's actually cool, foreseeing someone's death. In that way we can prevent it from happening, right? Yes. But still, the others automatically think they will die. They do not understand. Well, I do understand. And I'm your friend, remember? Friend? Shion asked, staring at Naruto's blue eyes. Naruto blushed at this, seeing how cute Shion looked. Yes. We're friends. The boy said as he grabbed the girl and hugged her. Don't worry. I won't leave you just because you foresee my death or yours. Together, we will change that and stay alive. Believe it. Shion was now blushing madly due to the boy's actions. Her face was now as red as a tomato. F friends. Why yes. I'm F friends with N Naruto-kun, stuttered the girl as Naruto still hugged her. Meanwhile, Naruto's siblings were of course watching and were giggling like fangirls. They were surprised when the boy suddenly hugged Shion. Oh my, Naruto-kun's the man, Narumi said between giggles. Oh, I'm so proud, Minako said as he too tried to suppress his laughter. He's our baby brother, alright. He's the lady killer. Miho and Mio both said. Next day, land of Marsh Morio's prison, ha 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 ha. Pathetic mortals. You think you can defeat me? The demon lord said as he encircled the family and prepared for another set of attack. The Uzumaki Namikaze family arrived 10 minutes ago and immediately battled the demon. The family easily slaughtered the cultists that were guarding the entrance. Yomi and his other 4 lieutenants were able to battle a little longer with the use of demon magic. In the end, they were defeated by Kushina by using the human path, pulling their souls out while also gaining valuable information. Weak. You are all weak. We've been battling for some time now and I've only received little damage. Morio taunted. Unknown to him, the family have been discreetly placing seals around the area while they moved around while the demon tried to kill them. Meanwhile, Naruto concentrated in a distance while he meditated and gathered chakra. Mio and Miho stood by him to protect him from the demon's attacks. Naruto-kun, we're ready. Kushina called to her son as she dodged a demonic tentacle. She turned gracefully and cut the tentacle with her sword. Die, you filthy mortals. Minato, Kushina, Narumi, and Minako finished placing the seals and started firing waves of jutsus at the demon while dodging at the same time. Naruto finally finished gathering chakra with the help of Kurama and opened his eyes. He bit his thumb and smeared blood on his shoulder where the seal was located and slammed the ground. Kushios no Jutsu. Watatsumi. The area became covered with smoke, allowing the four humans to take cover and retreat to Naruto's side. When the smoke cleared, there was now a great dragon 5 times bigger and longer than the demon Morio. Naruto stood on top of the dragon's head with his arms crossed. Ah, it's been so long since the last time I've been summoned to the land of humans. Well done, Naruto. Watatsumi mused as he stared at the demon with calculating eyes. You! Morio screeched angrily at the dragon. You do not have the right to interfere. Be gone. Now. I cannot do that. I have every right to be here since my master has summoned me. Now, it is time for you to return to where you came from and never come back here. The demon roared in anger and charged at the dragon. Watatsumi simply dodged and flew around the area while blowing golden steam and fire. The seals placed by the family glowed bright as the Dragon King strengthened them. The demon, however, did not notice and simply thought the attack was meant for him. Ha! That was it? You did not even hit me. Morio taunted. Oh, this guy is an idiot, alright. Naruto commented. Yes, he is, Watatsumi chuckled as he flew around and continued giving more power boost to the seals. Who are you calling an idiot? Morio angrily asked. Well, duh, you of course. You're an idiot. Naruto taunted. The demon angrily charged at the dragon head-on, completely forgetting about the others. Thanks to the boy's taunts, Naruto's parents and siblings were given the opportunity to place the final seals while the demon attacked blindly with rage for being called an idiot. The others began drawing lines and formed a huge hexagonal seal with them 6 standing at each points. Kurama, who was watching through her host's eyes, agreed with Naruto's statement. Yes, the demon is an idiot. Who turns their back from their enemies? And to think that he was considered as a king in his dimension, it's such a shame. Let's just be thankful that Morio's stupid. In that way we the others can work with the final seal. And then we can finally seal him back to wherever he came from. And then we can return. What, missing Shien already? Kurama teased. Hey! I didn't say that, Naruto shouted, blushing. You didn't. But I can read your mind, remember? I'm sealed inside you. I can feel your emotions. The boy chose not to reply as his face was now red. Kurama just watched with amusement. You slippery serpent. Come here so I could kill you. Morio screamed in frustration while Watatsumi dodged the demon's attacks and flew around. Naruto then noticed that the others have finished with the seal and were waiting for them to lure the demon inside. The boy silently ordered the Dragon King to fly down near the hexagon. Morio followed and flew down as well. Once again, he failed to notice the seals that were not beginning to glow brighter. Uzumaki sealing, demon soul drain. The family shouted as the demon neared the hexagon. The seals around the area activated, quickly draining him of his power. What is this? The demon screamed as it fell down and landed inside the hexagon. Due to his power being drained, he could not move and get away from the hexagonal seal, now finally noticing it. Too late. Uzumaki Kinjutsu, demon reverse summoning and sealing. Anamon, Kai. Demon gate, open. The hexagonal seal glowed purple and formed into a prism, trapping the demon inside. In another dimension, a same hexagonal seal appeared. Switch. No. I will not return to my old place. This is where I belong. I shall rule here. Morio wailed as the whole prism glowed. Watatsumi breathed golden fire at the seal, strengthening it. Morio's essence got transferred to the other dimension bit by bit until there was none of him left in this world. The seal's glow slowly died out as well as the prism. That takes care of it. Well done, everyone. The Dragon King commended the family for their work as he let Naruto step off from his head. You have done well, Master Naruto. You have successfully summoned me to your realm without passing out. I look forward to the next time you'll summon me to battle. Watatsumi bowed to the family and then to the boy before puffing back to Terra. Yay! We did it! Naruto cheered, making the others chuckle. Kushina then picked him up and kissed him. Minato ruffled the boy's hair, feeling proud. Come on, let's go back to the priestess compound. Oni no Kuni priestess compound, balcony Miraku, Shien. The Uzumaki Namikaze family, and Numa no Kuni's acting leaders were gathered by the castle's balcony to discuss the country's future. All residents of Oni and Numa were also gathered down below, listening to their leaders' discussion. Now that the threat of Morio has been dealt with, we may now look forward to our country's development. With the sealing away of all demons, my role as the priestess of these two countries finally comes to an end. Miraku started. As we have discussed yesterday, Oni and Numa will become under the Uzumaki flag and will be renamed to Nyuzo Shiogakuer, she said while looking at the Numa's standing leaders. She then stood and bowed to the Uzukage. I, Miraku, priestess and standing leader of Oni no Kuni, pledge my country's undying loyalty and friendship to the Uzumaki clan. We, the tribe leaders of Numa no Kuni, have been waiting for a rightful leader to lead our country to greatness. Now that you're here, we pledge our undying loyalty and friendship to the Uzumaki clan. May you lead us to greatness. The leaders said as they too bowed to the Uzukage. The Uzukage then stood up and said, I, Uzumaki Namikaze Kushina, Uzukage of the new Shiogakuer, accept your pledges and will make sure to develop both countries to greatness. May our friendship and camaraderie last forever, down to our future descendants. I now declare this land to be called Nyuzo Shiogakuer. Oni no Kuni will now be known as Nyuzo's first city, while Numa no Kuni will be the second city. Uzumaki Namikaze Narumi, I hereby appoint you as the first city's Uzukage. Uzumaki Namikaze Minako, I appoint you as the second city's Uzukage. May the two of you become just and great leaders, listening to your people, and becoming their inspiration, Kushina said. Minako and Narumi were beyond shocked. Their parents did not tell them about the two countries becoming one with Uzu, and now they were appointed leaders. Although surprised with the announcement, they both stepped forward and presented themselves to the crowd. We accept our appointment and pledge to do our best. The crowd then began clapping and cheering for their new leaders. Those at the balcony were also clapping and congratulated the two for their recent appointment. Naruto was jumping up and down while holding hands with Shien. They too were cheering. This, of course, didn't go unnoticed, making the others smirk. Later that night after the announcement, there was of course a celebration. Miraku then informed the Uzukage and her family that they will be moving to Shiogakuer. Naruto and Shien were the ones who were very happy with this. They will be growing up together and attending the academy. Shien have already told her mother that she wanted to become a shinobi and Miraku agreed. Development plans were also made that night. Storm squads will be sent to Nyuzu to seal off the remaining demons. Narumi and Minako will be receiving advanced lessons in leading a country. They already received their lessons back in Uzu. Now that they're officially Kages, they will now get their advanced lessons with the help of the two countries' advisors. Flashback and present time, Shiogakuer. Office all right. Let us get straight to business, Kushina said. Right. Mei replied. We bring news from Kirin about Konoha as well. The Uzukage nodded, urging her sister to speak. Konoha has sent diplomats to Kiri to forge an alliance. The diplomats were Hiyashi of the Hyuga clan and Fugaku of the Uchiha clan. They, of course, brought gifts to please the Mizukage. Mai trailed off, and stared at Minato. What are the gifts? The scrolls for the Hiraishin and the Rasengan. Silence. I'm sorry, can you please repeat that statement? Minato said. The scrolls for the Hiraishin and the Rasengan. Those are the gifts Konoha offered to Kiri, Mei said as she took out two scrolls from her pocket. Everyone except Mei and Ricardo were dumbfounded. But how? I managed to invade their minds without them knowing. The scrolls came from Danzo. He had it secretly copied and hid it in his root base. Right now there are two copies. The ones hidden in Danzo's root base and these, Mei said as he showed them the scrolls. So you managed to get them? Minato commented, a bit relieved. Yes. I managed to quickly make copies when I inspected them. The ones they currently have had been tampered with. The seals and instructions were edited. Should they try doing the Hiraishin, the area where they will put the seal will simply melt. The Rasengan, they'll just end up getting their arms blown up, Ricardo said. Well done. Good quick thinking, Kushina said. Ricardo just smirked and waved it off. You are welcome. I was just doing what's right. Then it's no longer a problem should the Mizukage accept. The only thing we'll have to do is destroy the copy or copies Danzo has. They probably made more copies for backup now. Right. Anyway, here's more news. A few days before the Konoha envoys arrived, me and my husband noticed that Yagura was acting off. When we made a secret investigation, we found out that he is under a genjutsu. And a strong one if I may add. We came to the conclusion that it was an Uchiha who placed it on him. The genjutsu's supposed to make him hate everyone with a bloodline. If we let it continue, there will be a bloodline purge in Kiri and will eventually result to a civil war, Mei said. Everyone in the room smiled mischievously while Kushina spoke. I trust you have a plan to put this incident to our advantage. Of course, Mei said. We'll simply let it happen. Kiri will be divided into two while the alliance proposal by Konoha will either be put on hold or accepted. I will be leading the rebels and the ones with a bloodline. After the civil war, I will reveal about Yagura being controlled by an Uchiha's genjutsu. Kiri will become hostile to Konoha then. By that time I will be Mizukage. Kiri declaring war and attacking Konoha will be easier. Everyone in the room laughed evilly after hearing Mei's plan. Perfect, Kushina said. All that's left is Kumo and Iwa. When the time comes, Kumo, Iwa, and Kiri will be attacking Konoha. In the end we will make them see the irony. 3 countries allied to destroy Uzu now allied once again to destroy Konoha. Ha ha ha. Father's plans will be fulfilled. I'm going to find that Uchiha and shake his or her hand for controlling Yagura. Ha ha ha, Mei said. They continued to talk to catch up about each other. Mei later then found out about Naruto's return and was excited to see her nephew. Uzushiogaku Hospital Tsunade's private room. Naruto was currently sitting by the bed of his grandmother. Every day, he will visit her and tell her stories despite her being in a coma. He just finished telling his story about his adventure in Oni no Kuni. With him were Hinata, Sasuke, Fu, Gaara, Temari, Kankuro, and Shion. Bachan, this is Shion. She's my newest friend. She's the priestess Miraku's daughter. Hello. Tsunade-sama. I'm Shion. I hope you'll wake up soon. Yeah, Bachan. I hope you wake up soon, Naruto said as he kissed her grandmother's forehead. Naruto then led his friends out of the room and decided to bring them to Ichiraku's. He hasn't seen Ayame for 3 days now, so he thought of going there and also introducing her to Shion. Nobody noticed the necklace Tsunade was wearing glow brightly when Naruto kissed her. Time skip. Following day Uzumaki mansion. Naruto woke up early and quickly fixed his bed. He went to the bathroom to bathe and when he finished, he excitedly wore his clothes. He ran to his parents' room and kicked the door open. Ka-chan. To-chan. Wake up, he shouted and jumped up and down the bed. Naruto-kun. What? Kushina bolted up, startled. It's the first day of school. The boy squealed excitedly. What? Oh, Minato said as he also woke up startled. The boy's parents chuckled as they noticed Naruto in his clothes. He was wearing his shirt the wrong way. The supposed backside was on front. His pants were also a mess as he wasn't able to wear them properly. The zipper was halfway open while the pants itself was worn inside out. His hair looked like a bird's nest while some areas still had shampoo bubbles. Someone's excited. Kushina commented as she could not help but giggle at her son's antics. Why, yes of course. I'm going to be a shinobi now. His parents simply chuckled at the boy's high energy. Well, you can't go to school with your outfit. You wouldn't want the girls to see you like that, would you? Minato asked. What do you mean? Look at yourself in front of the mirror. Kushina suggested while still giggling. Naruto did as ordered and finally noticed his outfit and his hair. Oh. Hee hee. I guess I was too excited. Come now, let's get you properly groomed. Kushina took her son's hand and led him back to his room. Minato went downstairs and ordered the household to prepare breakfast. Naruto's siblings who were sleeping on separate rooms also woke up due to his shouting. To-chan? What happened? I thought I heard someone shouting. Narumi asked as she found her father downstairs. There were more footsteps and Minako, Mio, and Miho also came down. What happened? The 3 asked. Minato simply chuckled as he brought out a camera and showed it to his children. The 4 checked the camera and started laughing as they saw the pictures of their baby brother running the corridor and barging in their parents' room up to where he checked himself in front of the mirror. This is so cute. Ha ha ha. Narumi and Miho both squealed. So this is what Miraku-sama was talking about last night? I did not understand why she was giggling. She just told us to have the cameras ready, Minako said. We're having these developed, right? Mio asked. Of course. Minato replied as he sipped his coffee. I would like extra copies of these, Narumi said. Yeah, me too. This will be good for future teasing, Minako said as he snickered. We're getting extra copies too. Miho and Mio said simultaneously. Right. So who'll be taking his pictures for his first day? Minato asked. We'll do it. The twins volunteered. All right. You'll receive a C-rank payment for this. I'm sure you know this is important. Naruto-kun wasn't with us for 5 years. We need to treasure all his firsts, Minato said, a bit sad. Hey, Dad. Cheer up. Naruto-kun's with us now. We'll make sure Konoha won't lay a finger on him ever again, Narumi said with strong conviction. They also got pictures of Naruto summoning Watatsumi for the first time, Naruto eating ramen for the first time, and also other important and happy memories. These pictures of course were taken secretly. Most of his early photos were taken with the help of drawing a memory out of someone's mind and printing it on a scroll with the help of seals. Uzumaki Academy. After getting properly groomed and breakfast, Minato and Kushina walked their youngest to school with the twins secretly taking pictures. Ka-chan. I forgot my schedule table. Naruto turned to his mother as he scratched his nose. I got it, Naruto-kun. Here. Oh. Thanks. Enjoy your first day, son, Minato said as he patted the boy's head. Yes. Naruto cheered. His parents kissed him before they let him run to his room for his first subject. Naruto went to his room and noticed there was nobody yet except him and the teacher. Hello, good morning. The teacher greeted. Good morning, sensei. You're early. The school opening ceremony will start later in 21 minutes. Please take a seat for now. Right. Thank you. Kira. I will be your sensei in physical education every Monday, Fuinjutsu and dancing. Your senseis for your other subjects will be your sensei in your PE on that day as well. Right. Kira-sensei. Thank you. The boy said as he found a seat and reviewed his schedule. Let's see. For Monday I have PE in the morning, history around midday, and Fuinjutsu in the afternoon. Tuesday's PE in the morning again. Oh. PE's every morning. Right. Anyway, I got weapons mastery and taijutsu after. I got chakra manipulation, and elemental manipulation every Wednesday. Thursday summoning and kenjutsu. Medical ninjutsu and genjutsu every Friday. Alright. I wonder what kind of dancing Kira-sensei was talking about. Why don't you ask her then? Kurama suggested. Kira, who was watching him, spoke. You're probably wondering what I meant by dancing. You see, I was your mother's student before I started teaching. For her, kenjutsu is a form of dance. Actually, battling is dancing. When you're battling, you're technically dancing with death. Fun, right? So that's your mother's term when she fights. For me though, it's kenjutsu. So yeah, I will be your sensei in your kenjutsu classes. You will only hear this term once since you're the only person here. Try using that as one of your phrases. You see, there will be a time where you will be famous throughout the world. When you battle someone, they will know they are screwed when you say it, Kira said, winking at the boy. Naruto grinned as he understood what his sensei meant. He already had a catchphrase in mind. Anyway, since you're the first student to arrive here, I'm giving you an award for being the early bird. I'm giving you advanced scrolls in kenjutsu. Enjoy. Kira took out 3 scrolls from her desk's drawer and handed them to Naruto. Wow. Thank you, sensei. You are welcome. If you have questions, feel free to ask. I'll just sit here and review the lesson plan while we wait for your classmates. Since I will be your homeroom sensei, I will be the one to welcome you formally with the classes. Your sensei in history will be Miraku-sama. I'm sure you already know her. Naruto nodded and took out his book in basic Fuinjutsu and began reading. Slowly the room got filled with students. When the room got filled, Naruto was sitting in the middle of Shion and Hinata. The Subaku siblings sat behind them. In front of Naruto sat Fu. Beside Fu was a girl wearing glasses that identified herself as Karen. Sasuke arrived a bit late so he sat beside Karen. Naruto got excited when he finally learned who Karen was and they immediately became friends. The two were bookworms and that's what made them bond easily. The ceremony started with Kira speaking in front and welcoming everybody. She had her students go in front and introduce themselves. When it was Naruto's turn, every girl in the room, except Tuya, who was sitting at the far corner of the class, was blushing at the boy, while the boys thought of him as someone very cool. After the ceremony they went outside for their physical training. Uzumaki shorelines, a hooded figure could be seen approaching the city slowly. This mysterious man strongly reeked of snakes. As he took another step closer, he found himself surrounded by 12 squads of storm. Why that many? The Uzu-nin sensed that this man was not a simple nin but very dangerous. He radiated an aura that can rival 2 cage-level nins. The hooded figure chuckled and removed his hood to reveal his face and raised his hands in a surrendering way. I am Orochimaru the Snake Sanin. I am friends with the Uzukage and the Uzukage before her. I come in peace. We strongly advise you not to move until the Uzumaki arrives to check you yourself. Make a move and we will immediately think of you as an enemy. Please wait while we call for the Uzumaki-sama, said Kaede, the commander of Storm. I understand. I will not make any attempt to move. I'll wait for her, said Orochimaru. Uzumaki office Kushina was currently signing construction approvals for Niuzu. She was interrupted when a storm appeared. Excuse me, Uzumaki-sama. There is a man by the shorelines who claims himself as Orochimaru the Snake Sanin. Kaede-sama and 12 more squads of Storm are currently watching him. So it was him I was sensing. Thank you. I'll be there shortly. Please alert all Jonin and higher while I confirm this person's identity. Hi. The Uzumaki then concentrated and called to her husband using a mental link. Minato-kun. Please be at the shorelines ASAP. After the call, she vanished from her office in a red flash. Uzoshiogaku's shorelines Minato and Kushina arrived in a yellow and red flash respectively. When they inspected the scene, they found a cloaked figure raising his hands in surrender while the storm surrounded him. At ease. It's him. The Uzumaki ordered. The storm then lowered their weapons but still held a defensive stance. When Nono-chan told me about you and your village, I was very surprised. It's a good thing I sent Onko-chan to Konoha that time. I have a good feeling that it was Uzu who raided Konoha twice. Am I right? You're right about that, Orochimaru-sensei. Replied Minato. Ah, Minato-kun. It's good to see you back in the realm of the living. The Snake Sanin commented. The blonde simply smirked and walked towards his sensei and hugged his sensei and adoptive father. Kushina did the same. Come on, let us get inside the village. You might want to meet my children. Also I think it is time that you met your godson. I'm sure Nono told you about him already. Let's make this official now, shall we? Kushina asked happily as they casually walked back towards the village. Of course. It would be an honor becoming godfather to one of your children. That's good then. Well, now he's 5. So you have 5 years worth of gifts to present to him. Kushina clapped happily making Minato and Orochimaru sweat drop. Konohagakure Route Underground Main Base 4 Rudanbu walked casually and entered the leader's quarters. These 4 were actually storm hench to 4 high-ranking Root they killed earlier. Using the human path, they were able to absorb all of their memories and easily pretended to be them as they infiltrated the base to look for the scrolls Danzo copied. The corpses were sent to Uzoshio for further investigation. They were tasked by the Uzumaki to search the base for the illegally copied Rasengan and Hiraishin scrolls as well as possible other stolen jutsus. Henged as 4 of the high-ranking Root, they easily got access inside and were not bothered by anyone. As of that moment, they were the only high-ranking members inside the base. The rest were out searching for a cure to wake their leader from his comatose state. After an hour of thorough inspection, they managed to find 3 extra copies of the Rasengan and the Hiraishin. One was placed inside the Root leader's desk drawers. Another one was found hidden in a safe box, where other stolen items were hidden. They found 12 masks that they recognized as the masks the Uzumaki clan owned that allows them to resurrect someone dead. Upon further inspection, they realized that the masks were not original. Even though replicas, they drew seals to each one of it that activates when worn. Should someone try to wear it, they will die. Simple. Beside the masks, they found a dozen of Hiraishin kunais. The storm decided to destroy and replace them with fake ones. The last pair of scrolls was found in the Root's library. Other than the Rasengan and the Hiraishin, they found scrolls that contained kinjutsus from other villages. One set contained about Black and White Lightning release. Another one was about Storm release. They also found a scroll for the Dust release. The last set of scrolls was about Makuten, Wood release. The Storm took the liberty of taking the said scrolls. Their first task done, they headed to the newly rebuilt Hokage Tower and waited for the distraction they needed to get inside and retrieve the remaining scrolls. Konoha Orphanage. A boy with bushy brows and long hair that touched his bottoms and wearing a simple shirt could be seen running alone by the backyard of the orphanage. This boy had no friends and kids around his age want nothing to do with him as they considered him their inferior because of his inability to produce chakra. Rock Lee just tried to enroll in the academy a few days ago but due to his condition, he was not allowed to. His now former friends got accepted and now left him alone. Unknown to him, 2 hooded figures were watching him train. They were hiding in a nearby bush and were waiting for the boy to run near. As the boy got near, he heard a noise. PSST. In here, quick. Hide here. Like any other kid, of course he got curious and did as ordered. As he got inside the bushes, he saw 2 cloaked people that had their hoods off. Lee figured that they were adults. One of them handed him a cloak that looked like the one they were wearing. Here. Quickly, wear this. This will make you invisible. Wow. Cool, thanks. The boy quickly wore it and looked at himself. I can still see myself. Of course you can. You're the one wearing it. You can also see us because we're wearing the same cloak. Put the hood on and we'll get out of this bush. Don't worry, people won't see us. We three can only see each other. They got out of the bushes and sat by the bench. The two Storm decided to get straight to business. Listen, we know about you wanting to get accepted in the academy but got rejected due to your condition. We have 2 questions for you. Here's the first, what is your dream? I'd like to become one of the greatest shinobi and respected by people and accept me even if I can't produce chakra. They both nodded and then said. Second question, would you still like to become a shinobi even if you have been rejected by Konoha's academy? The boy nodded eagerly with his eyes shining. Good. We can help you become one. But you're going to have to come with us. You already know that the people here are discriminatory. In our village, we do not discriminate people. We help each other out. If you come with us, you will be guaranteed a new home and will be able to attend the academy and fulfill your dream of becoming a shinobi. So, would you like to come with us? We'll give you time to think. The boy spoke almost immediately after the mysterious person's statement, surprising the two. People here treat me bad. The orphanage lady is also bad. Those who I thought were my friends no longer talk to me. The academy rejected me. Nobody wanted to adopt me. I don't want to live here anymore. Please take me with you. All right. We're taking you to Uzumaki. One of them said, smiling. The other patted his head and said, before we go there, we have to wait for another kid. We're also bringing her with us. My friends are currently looking for her while we went here for you. Oh. Do I know this girl? I'm not sure if you do. You see, she's currently locked in prison. But why? Konoha thinks of her as a demon. But they're wrong. You see, she was born very weak and also had a demon inside her mind. This demon takes control of her body and causes destruction. Instead of helping her get rid of the demon, they locked her in prison. That's bad. It wasn't her fault. Yes. Don't worry, my friends are going to help her escape prison. They will also seal off the demon that controls her body. For now, let's go to the forest and hide while we wait for them. Alright. Please lead the way. Konoha Prison, high security prison. Yakumo Kurama's cell. Said girl was currently sitting in her bed, waiting for something to happen. She was thinking of ways to escape, but her whole body was sealed. She could not call upon the power of Ito, the demon inside her, to break free as it had been sealed off. She was interrupted from her thoughts when she heard metal clanging. She stood up and went to inspect the source of the noise. She was surprised when she found the guards of her cell lying dead with their heads slit off. She jumped in fright when she noticed the killers. There were 2 of them and were wearing hooded cloaks. As one of them approached her main cell, Yakumo retreated back in fright. The hooded figure began drawing seals on the metal gates. After about 5 seconds, the seals glowed bright and melted the cell door. Come here. Don't worry, we're not going to harm you. We came here to rescue you. The girl slowly approached the person. A part of her told her to believe them and let them rescue her. It's all right. Now, we're going to place a seal on your forehead before we remove your restriction seals placed by Konoha. The seal we'll apply on you will forever seal Ito. The demon will no longer bother you after. We're going to send it back to the demon world. You know its name? Yakumo commented. Yes. We're taking you to Uzumaki. It will be your new home. You will not be in prison there. You will be able to live a normal life, attend the academy, and gain friends. What do you say? Yes. I'm coming with you. Take me out of this hellhole, please. The girl said as tears blurred her vision. After sealing off the demon, the storm removed the girl's seals that were placed by Konoha. Yakumo was now free. Alright. We're heading to the forest first. There are people waiting for us there. There's another kid we rescued from Konoha's clutches. What's your companion doing? Oh. Don't mind him. He's tagging the place with exploding seals. This place will blow up in 15 minutes. This is why we need to go now. We'll be safely ahead of them before they realize you're missing. Here, wear this cloak. Cool. Konoha Forest's Rock Lee's group arrived and waited for only 3 minutes. They greeted Yakumo's group and immediately took off. We're going to a waterfall a few kilometers near the Fire Country border. Our transport will be waiting there. Hokage Tower. The squad that raided the route base earlier quickly went inside 2 minutes after they heard an explosion. The village was immediately put on a red alert when Sarutobi heard news about the high-security prison blowing up. The Hokage, along with his Anbu, immediately headed there. The storm quickly searched the tower for the scrolls and found it. They escaped unnoticed and headed to the waterfall. The cloaks they wore were applied with seals, making them invisible even to the Hyuga's Byakugan. It masks their presence as well as their chakra, keeping them from getting noticed by enemy sensors. Uzushiogaku Uzukage office. So you wish to make an alliance with Uzu? Minato asked as he sat opposite his sensei. Yes. Otogaku needs allies. Since it's new, it will need all the help it can get. Once it gets developed enough, other villages will most likely begin to notice it. Then it will be troublesome, replied Orochimaru. I understand. We agree to this alliance. You should also ask the Kazakage and make an alliance with Suna. We are currently allied with them, Kushina said as she took out a folder. Here, these are the alliance papers. Just read them and sign. It contains the same contract we made with Suna. The snake Sani nodded and took the papers and read it. After a few minutes, he performed the sealing ritual and got the ring. There you go. Congratulations on your new village, sensei. Or should I now say Otokage Dono? The Uzukage said, making the man smirk. You've finally achieved your dream. You now lead a village. Thank you, Minato-kun, Kushina-chan. With your aid, Otogaku will grow strong and right. I will make sure my people won't become like Konoha. I'm sure you will, sensei, Minato said. The Shadaime and the Nidaime are probably rolling in their graves now. Their village treaded the dark path when they left it to Sarutobi and the others, Orochimaru said. Konoha's facing its last years. When Naruto-kun is ready, we will burn it to the ground. Kiri, Kumo, and Iwa will soon follow. The Uzukage said. They put their conversation in a halt when one of the seals in the Uzukage's desk glowed. Minato-kun. Understood. I'm going. I'll see you later, sensei, Minato said as he kissed his wife and shook his sensei's hand before vanishing in a yellow flash. I'll be returning to my hotel room or probably stroll around the village. Any place you could recommend for me? Well, you might want to visit Ichiraku Ramen. They'll tell you how they got here. I'll see you later then, Orochimaru said as he stood up and nodded to the Uzukage and then left the office. A few moments later, there was another yellow flash. Minato was back with the 2 storm squads and 2 kids. Uzushiogaku Academy. Alright class, that's all for today. For your assignment, memorize and practice your seal writing and strokes. Remember, drawing the perfect symbol is important in making seals. One wrong stroke can cause your immediate death. I'll see you again next week. Hi, sensei. Thank you for today's lesson. The whole class replied. Kira nodded and let them out of the room. See you tomorrow guys. Mom and Dad told me to come home today early. Naruto told his friends as they got out of the room. Uzukage mentioned the Uzumakis are born with a strong immunity against poisons. Tsunade was put into a coma due to the stress of her body being forced to close and open her chakra coils and muscles for the immediate restoration. Now her whole system's not responding. With the use of the Yamada no Orochi's venom, her system will function once again as the venom enters her body. Since the venom comes from a god summon and cannot be found normally in the realm of human mortals, the venom will be foreign to the body, causing the antibodies to work and function to fight the venom. Since Tsunade's an Uzumaki, she will not be harmed by the venom. Orochimaru explained as he showed the vial of venom to the family. So this is the snake god's venom? Yes. Before I got that, I had to give him 500 human sacrifices. That many? Kushina asked, horrified. Yes. Oh, and don't worry. The sacrifices were criminals. During the first week of Otogaku's construction, a huge number of bandits tried to raid my village. They never saw it coming. They became Snake Shao. The snake Sanin chuckled as he leaned back in his seat. Wow, Kyufu, Godfather. You defeated that many? An amazed Naruto said. Orochimaru chuckled at the boy's comment and said, it was nothing. They weren't shinobi. It could have been a different story if they were. But still, you single-handedly wiped them out. Someday, Naruto-kun, the world will know you for single-handedly destroying an entire shinobi army. You have us, your family, to help you become stronger. You will surpass me and your parents. Orochimaru stood and patted his godson's head. Now, let's go wake your grandmother, shall we? She has slept for too long. Uzushiogaku Hospital. Tsunade's room. The family stood back and waited as the snake Sanin injected the venom to Tsunade's system. They watched the monitor show the patient's system work on the venom. The graph went high and then low, and then high again. Bachan, Naruto murmured as he walked closer to Tsunade's bed and held her hand. Everyone except Naruto was amazed as they noticed her necklace glowing. Naruto was too focused watching his grandmother to notice. "The Shadime's necklace. It's glowing," Kushina murmured. Naruto yelped when he felt her grandmother's finger twitch. "Ba-chan." The monitor showed the patient's heart rate going back to normal. Tsunade continued to twitch. The first were her fingers, and then her whole arm. After a few seconds her eyebrows and mouth began to twitch. "Kei Kushina-chan," Tsunade whispered, making everyone in the room widen their eyes and walk closer. "Ka-chan," Kushina said as she held her mother's other hand while tears ran down her face. "Kushina-chan. Narumi-chan. Where are my babies?" After being in comatose for 18 years, Tsunade the slug Sanin finally woke up and returned to the world of the living. "Ka-chan." "Tsunade-koi," Arashi murmured as he too can't hold back the tears. "Arashi-kun." "Kushina-chan." The family got acquainted with Tsunade. With the help of the Rinnegan, they were able to easily tell and show Tsunade what has happened during the 18 years she was unconscious. When they got to the part about Naruto, Tsunade grabbed the boy and hugged him tight. She vowed vengeance on Konoha. When they finished telling her everything, Tsunade thanked her old teammate for the venom that caused her to finally wake up. The following day word spread about Tsunade's recovery that very same night. The whole country was on a grand celebration today. Those who were on a mission were recalled to honor the slug Sanin. Classes have been suspended and will be resuming next week. The school director and the Uzumaki agreed for an upgrade in the school buildings and facilities. Now that the greatest medical nin has returned, there would be changes for the medical ninjutsu subject. Uzumaki mansion dining hall. Everyone watched with their jaws dropped on the floor as Tsunade ate, or should I say, wolfed down the food that was served on her table, which was the whole table. Shizune, the slug Sanin's apprentice, returned from her assigned mission last night. She cried in delight when she learned of her master's recovery. While Tsunade was bedridden, she asked the Uzumaki to be sent on a long-term mission as a spy. The pain was too much for her after the masked Uchiha battled and left Tsunade in a comatose state. Kushina have ordered for her mission to be put to an end now that Tsunade was awake. Right now Shizune had a huge sweat drop as she watched her master wolf down the food. There were now more than 12 stacks of huge bowls and she just kept eating. More. "Om nom nom nom," Tsunade mumbled as she finished the last bowl that was served. She clapped happily when the household took away the empty plates and placed another buffet on her table. "Tsunade-sama," Shizune called. The woman simply raised an eyebrow and continued to eat. "Tsunade-sama. Maybe you should slow down. You know it's not good to." Shizune stopped her sentence as Tsunade sent her a glare that promised pain. The apprentice gulped and stepped backwards. Nobody else dared to interrupt Tsunade after as they feared for their lives. Meanwhile, Naruto was hungry and just got downstairs as he just woke up. He slept late last night due to events and did some training by himself. He got curious when he noticed the household, especially the kitchen staff, frantically running back and forth carrying platters of food and returning with empty plates. Naruto's eyes got wide when one of the chefs came out of the kitchen carrying a huge bowl of ramen. The chef was none other than Ichiraku Tuchi. Another person came out of the kitchen carrying another huge bowl of ramen. Naruto recognized the person as the chef's daughter. Ayame-chan. "Oh. Good morning, Naruto-kun." "Good morning, Ayame-chan. What's going on?" "We're here for today's celebration. The shop will open later after lunch. For now we're serving Tsunade-sama our best ramen," the girl explained as she walked to the dining area with Naruto following behind her. The boy was entranced by the ramen's aroma. When Tuchi and Ayame placed the bowls on the table, Naruto followed and took a seat beside his grandmother and began to gobble the contents of the bowl Ayame carried earlier. Everyone who was watching stopped dead in their tracks as they feared for the lost Maelstrom's life. They silently prayed to Kami that Tsunade won't hurt him for eating her food. "Oh my!" Shizune gasped as she slowly walked towards the boy to save him from the danger he didn't know he just got himself in. Tsunade grunted as she noticed one of her bowl of ramen got devoured by someone. To everyone's relief, she just smiled and hugged her grandson and began feeding him with ramen. She then began to eat in a normal pace. She sent Shizune a death glare when she noticed her near the table, causing the young woman to flinch and retreat. Kushina released her breath that she didn't notice she was holding. She thanked Kami that her son was safe. She remembered the time when she was still a chunin when her mother used the Sozo Seisei. Tsunade was unconscious for 2 weeks after using the technique, and when she woke up, she literally devoured all the food that was served and ate a lot. Those who tried to stop her tasted her chakra-enhanced fist and almost died. They were revived later when she finished her meal. Arashi was remembering the same incident. He just chuckled to himself when his wife hugged and began feeding Naruto. 1 week later, after the long week celebration of Tsunade's recovery, things have gone back to normal. Classes have been resumed. More buildings were added. More facilities were added, especially the medical facilities. Advanced courses have been added to the curriculum for Chunin level students or graduating students, which were extreme chakra control, conservation, and meditation. That is almost the same with Shinjutsu training. This allows the user to enhance all their skills and status for a particular amount of time depending on the amount of chakra was stored and how long they were stored before release. During the week, Rock Lee and Kurama Yakumo were enrolled to the academy and were given the same lessons Naruto's batch had, giving them the opportunity to catch up. Also, with the medical Sanin's recovery and knowledge with the human body, she was able to make new bodies for the two with the help of the Rinnegan's powers. Using the yin and yang release, they created new bodies that have been enhanced, making them now qualify to face the harsh world of Shinobi. After creating the bodies, they transferred Lee and Yakumo's souls to the new ones with the use of some Uzumaki Kinjutsu seals and the Rinnegan's human path. The boy may now use and mold chakra, while the girl's no longer ill. After the operation, they were introduced to Naruto's group. Uzoshiogaku Academy. Monday. It was Monday again. It was a new week for school and the official start of the semester. Kira welcomed her students as the classroom got filled. When the final student arrived, she called for the class attention. "Alright, today we have 7 new students that will be joining your class. They are from Otogakure. Since the village is still new and are still developing, they will be the first batch of students from their village that will study here. It's like a foreign student going to another village. They are like the Subaku siblings. Let us give them a warm welcome and make sure they'll feel comfortable with us," Kira said as she motioned for the said 7 to stand up. "Please introduce yourselves." The only female in the group was the first to speak. "Hello, good morning. I am Tsuchikin." She caught Naruto's eye and blushed crimson red. Hinata, Shien, Tamari, and Yakumo noticed this and glared at the girl. Tuya simply rolled her eyes as she felt the killing intent directed to Kin by the 4. Next was the boy who had long spiky hair. "Hello. My name is Abumi Zaku. Good morning everyone, I am Kinutadosu." The one with bandages all over his face except his left eye said while bowing. "I'm Jirobo. I do not have a family name." The fat one said. "I'm Kitamaru. Like Jirobo, I also have no family name." The tall one said. "I am Sakon," said the silver-haired guy. "And I am Ukon," said the other one. The two then stood with their backs on each other and said, "And together, we are the awesome Silver Twins." They both said while doing the peace sign, making the others sweat drop. Kira simply chuckled at the two. Do twins always say the same thing? Naruto wondered as he remembered his siblings. "Yes, they do," Kurama said. For the sake of the new students, Kira also had the rest of the class introduce themselves. After the introduction, the class began with their morning exercises. They were taught by the former priestess Miraku in history, and then by Kira again in Fuinjutsu. They were still mastering writing the correct strokes for the basic symbols in sealing. Tuesday Weapons Mastery Grade 1 class. Good afternoon class. I am Kyoki. I will be your sensei in this subject. Let us begin with introducing ourselves. I'll go first. I am Uzumaki Kyoki. I am a master of all weapons. I started teaching in the academy 3 months after the Iwakumo Kiri attack. My favorite weapon is the Naginata. Like most Uzumakis, my main affinity is water while my second is lightning. My goal as of now is for you to become masters of weapons. Kyoki then began to call everyone and had them stand in front and introduce themselves. After the introduction, she began with the lesson. A weapon is an important tool for a ninja. It could greatly help someone a lot when he or she gets in on a tight situation and cannot use chakra at the moment. As stated in our laws, civilians are also taught to fight and master their own chosen kind of weapon. For us shinobi, we have the advantage to enhance these weapons by adding chakra. But for now, we will simply begin with getting familiar with each kind of weapon. You will be taught to apply chakra with them on your next year. Once you are able to wield all even at an adept level, you will be prompted to choose 2 weapons that you will use in your shinobi life. A primary weapon that you should be a master of and a secondary weapon you're also better with the other weapons. While learning your chosen weapons, you will of course train with the basics with the kunai as the basic melee weapon and the shuriken, or throwing stars, for the thrown ones. Kunai, also, can be used for throwing. The last for the basic weapon throwing is the senbon needles. Senbon needles are usually used for disabling enemies from a hidden location. They are usually used by medic nids but even can be deadly when a non-medic has great proficiency with it. Before I allow you to have your hands on these weapons, we are going to watch our chunins demonstrate their own unique battle styles and play with their chosen weapons. The entrance of their dojo then opened and in came about 20 chunins. Among them were Naruto's twin siblings. Miho and Mio will be the first pair to demonstrate their battle style with their favorite weapon. For Miho, she is a master of the war fans while Mio is a master of the tonfa. Miho's main affinities are water and wind. She has the ice release. Mio's main affinities are fire and wind. He has the blaze release. Miho, please begin. The twins then went to the middle and bowed. They began their dance with their backs on each other. First they demonstrated the katas step by step and then continuous after. After the kata, the twins created water clones and ordered them to attack. The clones outnumbered them 20-1. On the first wave, the twins defended themselves with just using their weapons by deflecting and countering. Miho was the one deflecting the attacks with her fan and redirecting them to her twin, making him the one to kill the opponent. Sometimes Mio will do the same, allowing Miho to slash at the enemies with her fan, killing them off. After defeating the clones, they created more and this time, they were outnumbered 30-1. Miho raised her fans in a defensive stance while Mio went on an offensive stance. As the clones gathered around them on a circle, Miho channeled her chakra and coated her fans with wind while Mio coated his tonfas with fire. The clones then started throwing weapons at them. Miho moved her arms and motioned her arms in a circle. Futon, Wind Dome. The Wind Dome caused the thrown weapons at them to bounce back in every direction, now twice the force of the throw, dispelling some of the clones that got hit. While the Wind Dome was still active, Mio then thrusted his tonfas outward. Katen, Fire Cannons. Blasts of fire came out of the dome and dispelled more clones. Because of the wind, the fire cannons became stronger and bigger. The twins then decided to go on the offensive. Miho began to twirl her fans and made flicking motions. Hyoton, Fan Bullets. Simultaneously, Mio made an X formation with his tonfas and thrusted those outwards. Enten, Tonfa Bullets. Hundreds of ice and fire bullets pelted the clones, dispelling the remaining half. The twins decided to finish the battle by going back and crossing their arms. They held it outwards and made spherical motions with their weapons. At first a ball of compressed wind covered the two of them. Then came out 4 dragons, 2 of them made of ice and the other made of fire. The dragons made a protective circle on the sphere while also lashing out like a whip. The clones then began to scatter and prepared to defend themselves. The sphere caused the twins to hover above the ground for 3 inches. Then they called out their technique. Collaboration technique, Dance of the Ice and Fire Dragons. With the name of the jutsu called, the ball of sphere with them inside came at the clones and destroying them. The jutsu was based on the Yondaime Hokage's Rasengan. The twins upgraded it by adding their chakra affinities. With them inside the huge compressed sphere of wind, they destroyed everything in their path with the dragons, burning their enemies with fire and ice. The whole class watched in amazement as the sphere quickly bounded at one after another clone, completely destroying them. Half of the clones that got hit became solid statues and then exploded afterwards. The other half that got hit by the flames was incinerated into ash. When the jutsu died out, the twins returned to the middle and bowed. The class stood up clapping, very amazed with the dance they just watched. That was amazing, Ne-chan, Ni-san. Naruto called to his siblings while his eyes shined with admiration. Thank you, Naruto-kun. Thank you everyone. Kyoki-sensei, thank you for having us here demonstrate. The twins both said before they went to the side. Kyoki then called for the other chonins to show their katas and their techniques. After the demonstration, the whole class was now very excited to get their hands on with the weapons. Most of them while watching already got an idea which weapon they'd make as their primary. Taijutsu class. The grade 1 students sat in the field waiting for their sensei to begin. Their sensei was actually old but only looked like he was in his 30s. He was wearing red-plated samurai armor and carried an odachi on his back. He was huge and had a warrior build. His medium-length hair was tied in a ponytail and the tattoo of the Uzumaki clan was visible on his back. Good afternoon class. I am Uzumaki Kaze. I will be your sensei in Taijutsu. A little information about myself: I am a veteran samurai and fought back during the warring era. I cannot use chakra during my younger years. But thanks to the powers of the Rinnegan, I was finally able to unlock it when I turned 21. Even though I have unlocked my chakra systems now, I usually use it only for taijutsu as I have mastered it when I was only a chunin. I have also mastered using the 8 inner gates up to its maximum level without dying. If you wish to become a taijutsu master, feel free to approach me. I'll gladly have you as my apprentice. Rock Lee listened to Kaze with rapt attention. His respect for his new sensei just doubled. Knowing that he could not use chakra before, Lee decided that he'll become a taijutsu master. With his chakra unlocked, his taijutsu will become more powerful tenfold. He was interested about the 8 inner gates. He still had no idea about it, but he felt like it will be good for him to learn. Since you have your PE every morning, it is now my duty to level some things up, Kaze said while he smiled sadistically, making his students gulp. He took out several scrolls from his pocket and laid them on the floor. He performed a single hand seal and then there were puffs of smoke. When the smoke cleared, the students had to cover their eyes as the things the scrolls produced reflected the sunlight. "Sensei, what are these?" one student asked. Kaze smiled and pointed at the metallic things. "These are weights. Now that you are students of the Ozushiogaku Academy, you will now wear these every day until you graduate. Let me explain how these things work. When you're not wearing them, they are silver and are shiny. When you put them on, they blend in with the clothing you're wearing. There are 7 levels. The first one is white. The weight will vary on your body weight. White is 2 times your weight. Once you've gotten used to the weight, it will automatically adjust to the second level. The second level's yellow, which is 4 times the weight. Next is green, 8 times the weight. Next is blue, 16 times. Next is purple, 32 times. Next is red, 64 times. That last level is black, which is 128. Now, if you think that's easy, it's not. You're going to have a set, 2 for your legs, 2 for your arms, and 1 for your body. So that's going to be 5 times more the weight, he said as he clapped happily and began handing each student a set. After staggering and trying to stand up, the students were now ready to begin with the training. "Look at you all, so cute. You'll become cute little murderers in no time. Now, I want you to make 50 laps, 200 repetitions of push-ups, punches, kicks, pull-ups, and crunches, and then we'll spar later so I could see and rate your strengths and weaknesses. Now get moving, my cute little students," Kaze shouted. Before Naruto was brought back to Uzu, Kaze used to lead a team of Storm. When he learned of the lost Maelstrom going to the academy, he asked Kaede to leave his Storm duties so that he could teach Naruto and his batch mates. Kaede is a very kind and gentle person to the people he cares for. He can be very strict at times and would hit people younger than him in the head with the flat of his blade every time he sees them not acting good. He is a very good disciplinarian, due to his being a former samurai and fighting in the past 2 wars. He watched as his students struggled running and decided to join them with their training. After the session, Kaze gathered his students and gave them an assignment. "Your assignment is simple. Do not remove your weights. That's all." Dismissed. Wednesday Chakra Manipulation. Good afternoon class. I am Uzumaki Reza. I will be your sensei in chakra manipulation and also elemental manipulation later. Now please stand here in front and introduce yourselves. After the introduction, Rise spoke again. As you have learned already how to meditate and gather chakra on your Monday subject, we will now begin with the basic chakra manipulation skills. For now, we will be doing chakra exercises. What is a chakra exercise? It is an activity we do to improve our chakra control. The higher control we have, the lower the chakra it will require us to perform a jutsu or any chakra-based movement. Chakra exercises also help increase our chakra pool. We'll begin with the basic chakra exercises. She motioned for the class to watch her closely. She then began to walk towards a tree and instead of crashing onto it, she simply walked vertically up the tree and then horizontally, standing upside down when she reached the topmost branch. This is the tree walking exercise. How you do it is simple. You just focus your chakra on the bottom of your feet and start walking. Remember, too much chakra will cause the tree to explode and make you fall. Too few chakra will not make you attach to the tree and you'll fall faster. Once you've mastered the tree walking exercise, you'll begin with the water walking. Water walking is different from tree walking. You are required to pump chakra on your feet constantly as the water is not stable and is flowing freely. Fail to do so and you will sink. Once you've mastered the tree walking and water walking, you will be doing this, Reza said as she hopped down to the ground and picked up a dozen fallen leaves and placed one on her forehead. The leaf hovered a few centimeters and began spinning. When you've mastered this, you add another leaf, she said as she placed one on the tip of her nose and made it spin as well. After that, you'll add more to wherever part of your body you like. Reza then held out her hand and had each leaf spin on each tip of her finger. She did the same to her other hand. She stretched out her left foot and also had a leaf spin on her toes. There. Anyway, this will be a bit advanced. Our main goal is for you to master the tree walking and water walking exercises as soon as possible. Because when you're done, you will be doing the leaf balancing while tree walking and water walking. Once you've mastered the leaf balancing, you change the leaf to another thing that is heavier. Shinbans, kunais, throwing stars, combat knives, swords, and anything you could think of. When you reach a higher level in the academy, you will be sparring and dodging attacks while performing these chakra exercises. Now, let us get started. Please find yourself a tree and begin walking, Reza said as she activated the training ground seals and changed the landscape to a forest from an open area. Elemental manipulation. Since you're still building up your chakra pools and still require chakra training, I will be only teaching you the Shunshine, or the body flicker, and the Kawarimi, or the substitution technique. If you get the grasp of these two techniques in 2 hours, we will begin with the basic elemental jutsus after, the fireball, wind twister, lightning spark, earth smash, and water burst. Reza told the class as she smiled to herself, noticing her students' determined looks on their faces. Good. You're ready. Let us begin practicing performing the hand seals. 2 hours later, the class was once again gathered around their sensei. Well done. I want you to keep on practicing doing the substitution and the Shunshine up to the point where you won't need to do the seals. Once you've mastered the two, I'll teach you how to add chakra elements to your substitution and Shunshine. There are 5 types of elements, them being fire, wind, lightning, earth, and water in respective order. Fire is strong against wind but at the same time, it is weak against water. Wind is strong against lightning but is weak against fire. And so on. Each element has an advantage over another and is weak to another. Reza took out a scroll from her pocket and from it came out sheets of paper. These are chakra papers. They react to which main chakra affinity you have. You'll simply focus your chakra on the sheet. If it wrinkles, you have lightning. It will tear in half if you're wind. Burn if you're fire. Get soggy if you're water. And crumble if you're earth. Their sensei handed them 1 chakra paper each and ordered them to focus their chakra on it. Shien's paper wrinkled meaning she had a lightning affinity while Hinata's paper got soggy wet meaning she had an affinity for water. The Subaku no siblings were all wind, as they came from Suna. With Gaara being the Ichibi Jinchuriki, his paper crumbled after splitting, meaning he also had earth. Sasuke's paper burned on one side and crumpled on the other, meaning he had fire and lightning. Karen's main affinity was water. Lee's was wind while Yakumo had fire. Fu surprised everyone when she had 3 results. Her paper split into 2, with one half getting wet and the other half crumbling. The rest of the class had either 1 or 2 main affinities. Naruto got the class and her sensei's whole attention when he channeled his chakra onto his paper. There was a strong gust of wind around the Naruto as his paper split into 4. One burst into flames and turned into fine shiny black powder, the other one became very crumpled, the other got soaking wet, and the last one crumbled into fresh brown soil. Wow! Was the only thing everyone could say and think of. Even their sensei was speechless. It appears that you have the Kekkei Yantauta. Your strong affinity in fire is something I could understand as it came from me. You have the ability to produce fox fire. If your fire jutsus are stronger than normal, then you probably have the Kekkei Gatuta. Meaning you have all 5 elements as your main affinities. My fire simply made yours stronger. If I'm correct with my theory, then you will be able to produce hellfire due to my fox fire added to your already strong fire affinity. Kurama informed Naruto. Kekkei Yantauta and Gatuta? Asked the boy. Yes. There are 4. 1, being Kekkei Genkai, the lowest, a combination of a person's 2 main affinities. The Kekkei Santauta speaks the name itself. It is a combination of 3 different nature transformations. There are 2 known persons who have this. Mu, the second Tsuchikage, and Onoki of both scales, the third Tsuchikage. Their Kekkei Santauta is a combination of fire, wind, and earth with the result of the dust release, or Jinten, particle style. The Kekkei Yantauta is a combination of 4, while the Kekkei Gatuta is 5. Your uncle, Ricaudo, is a Kekkei Yantauta. Although I'm sure it is a well-kept secret. Only the Uzumaki clan knows about it. I sensed it from him the first time you met them. Since I'm a demon, I would know. You already know how humans acquire a bloodline limit, right? Anyway, the Kekkei Gatuta, however, had 1. And that was the first sage of the 6 paths, your ancestor and my father, Hagoromo Otsutsuki. You are the second person I knew who has this. Kurama explained. Wow. Naruto thought. You have the Kekkei Gatuta. Reza remarked. She then explained to her students the same thing Kurama told Naruto just now. If they were amazed with Fu having 3, everyone was now looking at Naruto with a new light. They were now more astonished with the boy. This boy is just full of surprises. Most people would think that this is the god's way of compensating for his awful life in Konoha. Reza thought. On the happy note, I can teach him every jutsu I know. Kushina-sensei will be delighted when she hears of this. Recovering from her shock, the teacher spoke again. Alright. Now that you know your affinities, I will be showing you the basic jutsu for your respective affinity, she said as she made shadow clones. Follow one clone each and they will teach you your jutsu. The original Reza approached Naruto and began to teach him all 5 elements basic jutsus. When it was time for the class to dismiss, Reza gathered her students once again. Good job today class. I will see you next week. For your assignment, I want you to keep on practicing performing hand seals. Here's a hint, perform all 12 hand seals consecutively going from a slow pace to a faster pace. Stay with the pace where you won't make a mistake and increase the pace when you're no longer committing errors with the current pace. Dismissed. Hi. Thank you sensei. The class chorused. Thursday summoning class. Good morning class, I am Uzumaki Chihiro. I will be your sensei in summoning. What we're going to do in this subject is we'll practice fighting alongside our summons. Do not worry, I will be helping you supply for the required chakra to summon your partner. Once you have summoned your partners, you will introduce yourselves to the class. Since most people in the class were Uzumakis, only a few required assistance. Once they have summoned their partners and introduced themselves, they began with the training. Naruto once again got his classmates stunned when he summoned Watatsumi, the king of dragons. Even Chihiro had his jaw on the floor as he did not expect this. I guess I overdid it, Naruto mumbled, scratching his head. He was standing on top of the dragon's head. Yes you did. The dragon chuckled. Try summoning a regular dragon. We will be doing our training together back in Terra every weekend, as time is different there from here, Watatsumi said as he looked around and found members of his clan with their partners, quickly understanding the situation. Right. I'll see you again later this week. Do well in your training. Goodbye. The Dragon King said as he puffed back to Terra. Naruto then focused less chakra and summoned another dragon. He was able to summon Akira this time. I've heard about the kid having the keke this one. Him being the summoner of Watatsumi-sama? He really is full of surprises. I'll do my best to teach him everything I know. Chihiro thought as he observed Naruto's newly summoned dragon. He was even able to summon one of the Dragon Clan's generals after summoning their king. And yet he's still standing like it was nothing. Amazing. The students' current objective was mastering the fighting style of their summons. Once they have mastered it, they will be sparring alongside them and against them. In the coming years they will be practicing performing collaboration techniques with their summons. Kenjutsu class. Welcome to the dance class. You already know me, so we'll skip the introductions and get on with the lesson right away. Kira told her students. Watch closely since I will be doing the kata 5 times only. I want you to memorize the movements quickly. This should be easy for you as this is only the most basic. She then summoned her sword from her seal and demonstrated the kata for the academy style. Always remember, the sword is an extension of your arm. It is a part of your body. When you dance, you move your whole body, and that includes the sword. You murder your enemies gracefully and flawlessly. If your grip on your sword is too tight, it's the same thing as having a numb arm when you fight. Grip it too loose, then you lose your arm. The sword is a part of your body. You need to maintain balance in order to move well. Now, let us begin. You will be handling real swords now and not the wooden ones, because wooden swords are for babies. You're soon to be ninjas and you need to feel the real deal. Now, go pick up a sword. Quickly now, do not choose. The sword will be the one to pick you. Just take one and get back to your formation. Once the students have gotten their swords, they stood in a loose formation so they will not hit each other. Good. Now, have both your palms sliced, and smear the blood on the flat sides of the blade. Do not worry, you'll heal quickly. Once you're done smearing the blood, hold the sword and position yourself with the basic stance. Make sure you do the proper posture and position of the sword. Follow my lead. The students then did as told and watched their sensei. The stance was simple. The right foot was ahead of the body forward while the left foot was at the back. The distance between was 1 foot. The arms lowered, holding the sword with its tip raised on a 20-degree angle. Good. Now, channel your chakra to the sword. The students then concentrated and channeled their chakra to the blade. They were surprised when the whole sword began to change form. Kira then began to explain. Those swords you're holding have been applied with seals. When you smeared your blood on it, you signed the contract. When you channeled your chakra on it, you activated the contract. It took your body measurements and weight, and changed form to suit your style. You will notice that the balance, weight, and grip are now perfect, unlike earlier. You feel now more comfortable holding it due to the seal adjusting the sword for you. Some of you had short swords, normal length swords, long swords, broadswords, and even split into two for dual wielding. The swords are now yours. Those are my gift for you. You will be using these swords for about a month until you have your own sword or set of swords forged. Just show these current swords to the smith so they could get the necessary measurements. For the month, we will practice with the basic thrusts, slashes, swings, stabs, and other movements. After the class, Naruto approached his sensei and asked about a certain sword fighting style. Yes, Naruto? Sensei. There is this style I want to try. I'll be requiring 2 more sets. Can I have 2 more of the swords? So you want 6 swords in total? Kira asked as she eyed her student's first pair. Yes. Alright then. She smiled, patting the boy's head. Naruto smiled and took 2 swords that do not have a contract yet. He did the same thing earlier, and once he finished with the ritual, he now had 6 swords in total. I'd like a demonstration of this style you're talking about. Hi. Kira then activated the seals on the dojo and 30 dummies appeared from the ground. Whenever you're ready, begin. Naruto nodded and threw the swords in the air. He caught one with his mouth, the blade on his right side. He caught another one with his right hand, holding it in a back hold with his arm forward on a 45-degree angle, meaning the blade also facing his right side. He caught the third with his left hand in a back hold as well in a 45-degree angle. The fourth blade was caught between his left leg and hip, held near his waist, facing the outside left. He was in a slight crouching position with his left knee raised, the fifth sword held behind it, also facing the left outside. The last sword was placed behind his right knee, facing the right outside. Kira's eyes widened as she have never seen or read about the stance Naruto was doing. She watched closely as the boy nodded to her and began attacking the dummies. Unnoticed by Naruto, all of his classmates have stayed behind when they heard him talk to their sensei and got curious, so they decided to watch the Lost Maelstrom. Naruto attacked the dummies with random strikes. He was spinning to the left, right, upwards, and downwards while also kicking the dummies to lift him to the air or simply give him a speed boost as he hit another dummy that was nearby. Kira tried to read his movements but could not make a pattern as the dance moves were completely random. In less than 2 minutes, all dummies have been sliced off. Sensei, I would like to test with attacking dummies, Naruto said with his sword still on his mouth. Kira nodded and cleared the destroyed dummies and replaced them with moving dummies. The dummies were now wielding wooden swords and were making attacking motions. She then nodded to Naruto to start. Naruto did the same thing he did earlier with the unmoving dummies. Kira noticed that the boy's random movements also allow him to defend himself at all sides while he attacked and parried the dummies. In about 4 minutes, all 30 dummies were annihilated. The sensei was making calculations in her mind and figured that once Naruto have mastered the style, he could spin and move around faster and destroy more dummies in a short time. She snapped out of her reverie when Naruto once again threw the swords in the air and gracefully caught all 6. That was impressive. Where did you learn that? I've never seen that style before. Kira remarked. Naruto's classmates, whom he's noticed now, were also gaping at him and were curious as to where he learned the style. He simply shrugged and answered his sensei honestly, actually sensei, I just thought of the style earlier while we were practicing the katas. I wondered to myself what if the movements were totally at random. So I devised a style and main stance for it. When the class ended, I finally completed in my mind on how to do it, and so I asked you. So you're saying, you just made up that style today and while we were also doing our lessons? Yes. Naruto replied. He shifted uncomfortably under his sensei's piercing gaze. How long have you been dancing with a sword? I just held my first swords today. I've been reading scrolls for some katas and stances, but today's the first time I actually got my hands on a sword. Kira could not help but show her excitement as she kept on muttering the words genius, amazing and totally unpredictable. Suddenly, she grabbed the boy into a hug. Come here, you, she said as she squeezed the boy's head against her chest. Oh, you little genius, you. She then released the boy and kneeled in front of him, holding his shoulders. So, do you have a name for it? I just thought of a name. The Dance of 6 Deaths, Naruto said as he made an I got it pose. Kira clapped happily and half-dragged and carried the boy outside the dojo. Class dismissed, she shouted, not looking back at her students who were still awestruck. Sensei, where are we going? We're going to see the Uzumaki and show it to your family. I'm sure they will be proud. Since you invented this style, it will be placed on your logbook under your achievements. Unknown to Naruto, His twin siblings were still taking pictures and videos of him for his album. Miho and Mio were very impressed and could not wait to inform their parents and older siblings. They followed Kira and Naruto and realized they were also headed to the Uzukage's office. Uzukage office Uzukage-sama. Kushina and Minato looked up as the door burst open and Kira along with Naruto came barging in. They noticed that the Kenjutsu teacher was very excited. "Sensei. It's Naruto." Kira said as she dragged the boy in front of his parents and began squeezing him to a hug. She then released the boy and patted his head. Kushina and Minato could not help but smile as they watched Kira look very thrilled. He just created his very own Kenjutsu style. She half shouted. She then activated her Rinnegan and showed them the memory. After watching, Kushina grabbed her son and smothered him into a hug. Minato was smiling wide and was ruffling his son's hair. "That was very impressive, Naruto-kun. We're so proud of you," they both said. Naruto was just speechless as he blushed to his parents' praise. Kushina could not keep her excitement and wait for dinner, so she called for Kaede, Arashi, Tsunade, Minako, Narumi, Miho, and Mio to the office and asked Kira to show them the memory. After a lot of praising and congratulations, Kushina finally took a scroll and began sealing and writing down the information about the technique and drew the main battle stance. The scroll was then labeled The Dance of Six Deaths by Uzumaki Namikaze Naruto, the Lost Maelstrom. Kushina told her son that she will be the one to personally train him in Kenjutsu, like she taught his siblings. "Now, go back to the mansion and get some rest. We're having a celebration dinner later," Kushina informed her son. The boy then kissed his parents and grandmother before leaving the office. "A day before, we found out that he had the Kake Gatuda," Arashi started. "And now this, he just created his own sword fighting style at the age of 5. Who knows? He probably has the Makuten as well." Kaede half-joked, making the others laugh. "Oh yes. Who knows? That boy is full of surprises," Tsunade said. "Indeed. So, what are we having for dinner?" Minato asked. "Aside from ramen, what else?" Arashi interrupted, knowing that her daughter would undoubtedly say ramen. "Let's just order for a huge feast from the Golden Whirlpool Dragon and have the food delivered to the mansion. We'll let them handle the choice of food," Kushina said. "Of course, I'm also ordering huge bowls of ramen from Ichiraku's. I'm thinking of inviting them as well and Naruto's friends." Kaede then took out a notepad and began scribbling on it. "What are you writing?" Kushina asked her brother curiously. "Oh. Just the materials for Naruto's sword. I'm having a squad look for the rare materials from different countries. It will be a perfect gift for him on his birthday. I was thinking of the same thing. If we show the memory to Maine-chan and Ricardo, they'll surely think of giving him a sword as a gift as well." "Yes. We could chip in the money required for the materials," Arashi said. Minato then peered over to Kaede's notes. "This will be expensive," he noted. "It doesn't matter. It's for Naru-chan's birthday gift," Kushina said. "The rarest alchemy materials from the land of snow, fire, water, lightning, earth, and wind. These will cost 15 to 20 million yen depending if we get a discount. It's a good thing the daimyo of the land of metal agreed to our proposed alliance. We'll get the purest, strongest, and lightest metal alloy from them. The land still owes us a great amount. We can have the other materials for free," Arashi said. "We'll strengthen the swords even further with seals once they're forged." Tsunade finished. Finally coming to an agreement, they sent 6 squads to go to the said 6 countries to look for the rare elemental materials needed to make the swords. Naruto's sword's elemental affinities will be ice, fire, water, wind, lightning, and earth. They also sent a letter to Mei and Kiryu to the daimyo of the land of metal, informing them that the swords will be for Naruto's birthday gift. Kushina also sealed a video copy of the memory into a scroll to show Mei Naruto's invented style. That night, the family had a celebration for Naruto's newest achievement. All of Naruto's friends have been invited. The Subaku siblings, Hinata, Sasuke, Lee, Yakumo, Fu, Shion, the priestess Miraku, Karen, and even Tuya were present. Orochimaru, Team Dosu, and the Sound Four were also present, and lastly, of course, Ayame and Tucci. The next day, Friday, used a Shiogakure Academy Medical Ninjutsu class for grade 1 that morning in their PE class. Naruto was approached by all of his classmates and congratulated him for his achievement. Even their sensei, Kaze, approached Naruto to congratulate him personally and offered his assistance for Kenjutsu training should he require it. Even though the boy's mother was a master in Kenjutsu, he could still teach him the way of the samurai. When the time for their medical ninjutsu class started, Their sensei was excited to see Naruto. Of course, their teacher for the subject was Shizune, Tsunade's apprentice. Naruto's grandmother most likely informed her. She also congratulated the boy before getting started with the lesson. Alright. Good morning everyone, I am Kato Shizune, apprentice of the medic Sanin, Senju Tsunade. I will be your sensei for this subject until your grade 3. Please stand in the middle and introduce yourselves. After the introduction, Shizune went on lecture mode. Medic knowledge is very important to a ninja. Back in the war, the rate of death is very high due to the lack of ninjas who are able to perform medical ninjutsu. When the greatest medical nin, Senju Tsunade, proposed a program of it to Konoha, it was declined by the Sandaime. The Uzumaki clan, however, saw the great benefit of this and added it to the academy's curriculum. With our ninjas knowing medical ninjutsu, our death rate will be very low to none at all when they're sent to missions. For 3 months, we will be learning and memorizing the human anatomy while also learning the first aid, basic antidotes and medicines, and identifying the correct herbs and plants that is harmful or a medicine to the body. Shizune then took out a huge chart and began explaining. After explaining the human structure, she showed them samples and vials of basic poisons and the antidotes for them. Genjutsu class. Hello, good afternoon. I am Uzumaki Natsuki. I will be your sensei in Genjutsu. Please introduce yourselves before we get started. After the introduction, Natsuki was eager to inform Yakumo Kurama that she wanted her to be her apprentice. She knew how powerful the clan was in Genjutsu and wanted Yakumo to use her talents to their maximum and master the art. Genjutsu, or illusionary techniques, are types of techniques that also require chakra. When a person is trapped in it, he or she is brought to a false world. A strong genjutsu can make the victim believe that the events that are happening are real. A genjutsu can be also made multi-layered. Should a person break free from the first layer, there will be a backup or backups to keep the victim trapped. How does one break free from a genjutsu? The victim must concentrate and gather chakra and flare it. A victim can also be freed by an outer source. If the chakra scent is strong enough to disrupt the victim's chakra flow, then the person will be freed. Jinkarikis, if friends with their tailed beasts, are automatically immune to genjutsu without even training on countering it. For now I will be teaching you basic genjutsu and will put you under it within the day. I won't tell you when or how many times you'll be under it. It is up to you to find out and break free. 1 week later, Naruto and his friends were currently eating at Ichiraku's and were conversing with Ayame. They finished their genjutsu class and were dismissed 3 hours ago. After eating and some talking, the others excused themselves to go home and rest, until it was only Naruto left in the restaurant. He continued talking with the chef's daughter. In fact, he started to develop a crush on Ayame. Unlike most people, she treated him as himself and not as the lost maelstrom. They both enjoyed each other's company. When it was time for the boy to go, Ayame gave him a takeout bowl of ramen. Naruto thanked her and his dad and walked back to the mansion. It was already hours past nightfall. It was already dark. Most shops were now starting to close. I'm bored. I don't want to go home yet. I want to do something fun. Naruto thought. Why don't you try sneaking inside your mother's office and taking something? You know, they'll find out about it and will have the Storm and Jounins look for you. It will be good for you to test your stealth skills. Kurama suggested. She too was bored and wanted some action. So she decided that it would be best for her host as it was also a kind of training. She knew Naruto loved training. He. That sounds fun, Naruto agreed. He then tried to mask his presence and went to the Uzukage's office. When they got there, the two were surprised to find the office empty. Maybe they went on a meeting? Naruto thought as he searched around the desk for something. He checked the cabinet and found a huge scroll. What's this? That's the scroll of sealing from Konoha. It is only a copy. But it would not hurt taking it. You could learn a thing or two from that. Take the scroll and go. Naruto nodded and took off with the scroll. He went to the forest to hide while he waited for his mother to find out and send people after him. He ate the bowl of ramen Ayame especially made for him before he opened the scroll. What to learn, what to learn. Shadow clone jutsu. Multiple shadow clone technique. I wonder. Naruto then read. Shadow clone jutsu, a jutsu developed by the Hokage, Senju Tobirama. The jutsu allows to create solid copies of the user. Unlike the basic clone technique, the jutsu is corporeal and not an illusion. The clone can also perform jutsu and the shadow clone jutsu to create more copies of itself. It can also bleed but will usually disperse after getting hit by a strong force. The clones can also dispel on their own or by the original. The clones can also feel the emotions of the original and have a mental link between them, allowing the original to relay information to the clones even at distances. When a clone is dispelled, the memories are transferred to the original and to the other clones. The jutsu was specially made for Uzumaki clan members. Due to their high chakra reserves, they cannot produce simple clones. This jutsu is considered a B-rank kinjutsu as it is dangerous for non-Uzumaki or with those who have low reserves to use. Lastly, shadow clones cannot be distinguished from the original even by the Sharingan, Byakugan, or the Rinnegan. Naruto then noticed a note on the bottom part. He figured it was recently written by someone. Note: shadow clones' memories and experience are transferred to the original when dispelled. Perfect. Time to learn this. An hour after, Naruto finally mastered the shadow clone technique and the multiple shadow clone technique. He was immediately on the alert when he sensed people. Naruto recently found out that he was a sensor. He asked Kurama about it and the fox told him that the ability did not come from her. Meaning he was really born with sensory abilities. With Kurama's ability to detect negative emotions, he used its advantage to detect people and especially enemies faster. Finally, they're here. The boy then started off running towards the searcher's position. Hey, Naruto-kun. You're going the wrong way. What are you doing? Naruto did not respond and simply smirked. He ran straight for the large group of storm operatives with another big group of jonins. He figured out that they were just receiving their orders. And he was right. Just before they scattered, Naruto appeared in front of them. Immediately, the boy was surrounded. Please surrender the scroll and come with us to the office. The leader said. He. Naruto chuckled and made a hand sign. Tajukage Bunshin no Jutsu. Thousands of Naruto clones appeared and scattered in all different directions. And there goes your stealth training, Kurama sighed. Oh shit. The leader muttered, finally understanding what was going on. Not again. Groaned the others as they too understood. Those who were new storm members gave confused looks. It's a kind of tradition for all Ozukage's children. I'll explain after. For now we need to find him fast. The leader said before taking off. The others just sighed and chased after the clones to look for the original. Meanwhile, the original Naruto shunshined back to the Ozukage's office and returned the scroll. Then he shunshined to the mansion and hid in his room. Kurama was howling in laughter while Naruto tried to remain silent. He muffled his laughter with a pillow and later fell asleep. Ozukage's mansion balcony. Arashi, Tsunade, Kaede, Minato, Kushina, and Naruto's siblings were all in the balcony watching. Arashi and the others were on the ground laughing out loud. Boo-wah-ha-ha-ha. He did it. He did it, exclaimed the old man between fits of laughter. Oh. That was the best. Going right in front of them and then creating thousands of clones. Ha 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 ha, Tsunade laughed. The Uzukage and the other family members actually knew about Naruto sneaking in the office and taking the scroll as Miraku informed them earlier. Arashi remembered the time when he was still Uzukage and the same thing happened to his children. In different times, Kushina, Kaede, and Mei also sneaked in the office and took the scroll of sealing. He simply let them do it to improve their stealth skills. When he was a child, he did the same thing when his mother was still Uzukage. Kushina let the same thing happen to her other children. Although this was the first time her child showed up in front of everyone and then did the multiple shadow clone before returning the scroll back to the office and then hiding in the mansion. Oh, this is going to be a long night for my men, Kaede said between coughs of laughter. Ha 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 ha. Time to make bets, Minato said. Let's see if Naruto-kun can beat my record. I still have the longest time before getting caught after all. 7 hours and 10 minutes. Kushina bragged. The family then made bets. The winner gets treated to ramen for free in a week. The next morning Naruto woke up feeling great, although he was starving. Mastering and creating 3,000 shadow clones had been very taxing. He was lucky to have felt the fatigue when he got to his bed. He then went out of his room and looked for his family. He sensed them all gathered at the balcony. When he reached the balcony, he wondered why they looked like they sat there camping for the night. They were asleep. Ka-chan? Ko-chan? What's going on? Naruto asked, waking them up. Oh. It's you, Naru-chan, Kushina said, still a bit sleepy. What's going on? Before anyone could answer, the leader for Naruto's search appeared in a water sunshine to report to Kaede. Kaede-sama. We still haven't found him. We estimated the clone's number to 10,000. The storm stopped, finally noticing Naruto, who was still confused. The storm quickly tapped a restriction seal on the boy's forehead and waited for it to dispel. When it remained, he realized it was the real Naruto. Sigh. I finally found you. By the order of the Uzukage, you are to come with me to the Uzukage's office and return what was taken. What is he talking about? Naruto thought for a moment. Then he remembered and could not help but laugh. Ha ha ha. But the scroll's been there overnight. I returned it right after I produced the clones. Ha ha ha. What? What? The storm half asked, half shouted. Then he facepalmed himself and started laughing. Finally caught up, huh? Kaede said as he too was laughing. The whole family was laughing. Call off the search. You will all receive a D rank's pay, Kushina said between giggles. Hi. Thank you, Uzukage-sama. He bowed to the others and left to call off the search. Wow. So they were looking for me for the whole night until this morning? Naruto asked. Yes. They all replied. Wow. Yeah. Ha 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 ha. Ha 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 ha. Well done Naruto-kun, Arashi said, patting his grandson. 10 hours and 10 minutes. And that was because he wasn't aware they were still looking for him. The search would have gone longer if he didn't come in time to report, Kaede said, reminding the others. Wow. Just so you know, there are still about 2,700 clones remaining. Naruto informed them as he sensed his clones. Most of them were hiding while the others were running away from storm. He mentally ordered them to dispel one by one every 1 minute. What? Kushina, upon realizing something, shouted. I lost to Naruto-kun. My baby beat my record. She wailed, although also feeling proud. Now. Time for breakfast. Let's go back to the house, Tsunade said, motioning for everyone to walk to the dining room. Time skip. About 2 years later after that incident, Naruto used the shadow clones to his advantage to speed up his training. His family told him to keep the special use of the shadow clone a secret. So he did. His chakra reserves have gone larger and still continued to build up. Thanks to his lessons in the academy, he also had more control in chakra now. His grandmother, Tsunade, gave him chakra control lessons during the weekends while his mother, Kira, and Kaze helped him with his kenjutsu. Minato, Minako, and Narumi helped him with elemental manipulation. Although he was immune to genjutsu, his aunt Natsuki still tutored him on the subject every weekends and told him to invent his own genjutsu techniques. Mio and Miho helped him with the other subjects, as well as weapons mastery. Aside from the six-sword style, he had chosen the bow staff as his secondary weapon. Naruto received his elemental swords on his 6th birthday. The fire sword was a gift from his Aunt May and Uncle Ricardo. The ice sword was a gift from his 4 siblings. The wind sword was from his father and the water sword from his mother. The earth sword was from Tsunade and the lightning sword was from Rashi. He still hasn't decided names for his swords. He got his elemental bow staff from his Aunt Natsuki, also a birthday gift, and named it Stunner. About 3 months after they started at the academy, Sasuke finally awoke his Sharingan due to the heavy training they've been taking. Tobi taught him about the Sharingan and their clan's family jutsus during the weekends. Rock Lee, on the other hand, had chosen to become a taijutsu master. He was apprenticed to the veteran samurai Kaze and received whole-day lessons every Saturday. For his weapon of choice, he had the nunchucks. He was also taught by Tsunade every Friday afternoon the same technique she uses to enhance her physical attacks. Since Lee will be using mainly taijutsu, it was a great idea to combine monster strength to it. Kurama Yakumo was taught by Natsuki in genjutsu. She made great progress within 2 years. She was also able to invent 2 of her own genjutsu. The burning coffin burial and the poison ivy entanglement. Her jutsus had been added to her achievements record and got the first jutsu classified as an A rank while the second one being B rank. 7 months after getting his seal fixed, Gaara finally managed to make friends with Shukaku. The one-tailed demon helped him and his siblings train and taught them the Suna's long-forgotten techniques, the ones that were used before the first Shinobi War. Fu's friendship with Chome also got stronger. The seven-tailed demon taught her jutsus from her old village, Takigakour, and started training the girl using demon chakra. In Konoha, Neji was made the new Hyuga heir after Hanabi's kidnapping. Unknown to them, the girl was also brought to Uzushiogakur and got reunited with her sister, Hinata, and their mother, Hitomi. Their mother had them use the name Uzumaki as it was their birthright and was no longer affiliated with the Hyugas. Hitomi was brought back to life with the use of the Shinigami masks 9 months after Tsunade's recovery. Hinata and Hanabi received training with their Byakugan from their mother. Shien was also doing great in her training. Naruto found an interesting way to counter the girls seeing of people's deaths. The boy suggested they use a blood clone and had it die the same way she saw the person die in her vision. It proved effective when Shion saw Hanabi's death when she was being taken from Konoha. After that incident, kids their age no longer feared Shion and her visions. The girl had more friends. Miraku and Shion were very thankful of Naruto for his ingenious idea, making Shion's crush and respect for the boy increase. Karen received training from Narumi and sometimes Kushina. They found out that she too possessed a strong ability for the Uzumaki chakra chains. They also found out that she was a strong sensor. Karen also received apprenticeship to Tsunade in medical ninjutsu. Lastly, Tuya finally opened up with the group and became friends with Naruto and his friends. Although there were times she acted irate whenever girls fawned over Naruto. Tuya also established a good relationship with the sound students due to her love playing the flute and using genjutsu with it, the same way Ken uses bells tied on her senbons. Minako and Narumi formally took their seats as the Yozukages in Niuzu. The island was now surrounded by strong whirlpools and was also covered by thousands of seals including demon restriction seals. The people living there started learning the shinobi arts and received the new technologies from the mainland Uzumaki. Otogakur also finished its construction and finally became considered a minor village. With its secret alliance with Suna and Uzu, Oto continued to steadily grow stronger. In the Land of Rain, the Akatsuki finally managed to defeat Hanzo and his followers. Within 2 months after their arrival, they quickly managed to recruit people to their cause and found the rebels. More than 90% of them sided with the Akatsuki and wanted the current leader dead. After 15 months of closed rebellion, they finally came into the open and fought the leader and his followers. All of those who opposed Akatsuki had been mercilessly killed. With Nagato as the new leader, he had the city rebuilt and got it blooming within 3 months with the help of Yahiko and Konan. All people of Amigakure were now sworn into secrecy and were very loyal to their new leader. 3 more months later, the Land of Rain had a change of name. Ame was now called as the Niuzu's third city. For the outsiders, they still thought that the place was still called Amigakure. The third city was heavily protected by seals. No spy was able to enter the village. Whenever they tried, they simply exploded into blood and gore as they neared the village borders. Uzukage mentioned it was early in the morning, and Naruto was still sleeping in his room. Today was his 7th birthday. He was awoken from his sleep when he hit his head on something hard when he turned. Naruto's eyes flew open and found himself in what looked like a small jungle. He rubbed his eyes and realized he was still in his room. His bed had been turned over and saw a huge tree trunk on its stead. He realized it was the hard thing he hit his head with. There were tree branches all over his room and vines crawling on the walls. Naruto was now starting to panic and tried to call on Kurama to ask her if he was under some kind of genjutsu. When he got no response, he lost it. He freaked out and tried to stand up but could not as there were tree branches and vines. Ka-chan. Dou-chan, Naruto shouted in a high-pitched voice. He was very scared now. Ka-chan. Dou-chan. Ba-chan. Ogi-chan. Ah. No more than 10 seconds later the door was blasted from its hinges, also destroying the tree branches that were near. The room instantly got filled with very strong killer intent as 6 cage-level shinobi burst in, followed by 2 squads of storm. More people came in, Naruto's siblings coming into view behind the storm squads. "What's this?" Minako asked as he observed the room. "Tree branches." Narumi muttered. "I don't sense anyone unfriendly. There's no sign of intruder." Arashi informed them. The old man was a sensory type and made a 100-kilometer scan. "Naruto-kun, what happened?" Tsunade asked as they tried to remove the branches. I don't know. I woke up when I hit my head on this tree trunk. When I tried to contact Kurama and ask her if this was a genjutsu, I got no response. Until now I can't sense her, Naruto said while he tried to stop crying. "Shh. It's alright, you're safe," Kushina murmured as she comforted her son. She was the first to get near to the boy. I thought something bad happened. I thought Uzu got invaded. I thought I was the only one left," Naruto whispered, still crying. "Shh. Nothing bad's going to happen to Uzu and to her people. Ka-chan promises you that," Kushina said as she kissed the boy's forehead to calm him down. But Kurama. What happened to her?" "I can't feel her," Naruto said. He felt another pair of arms and saw his grandmother beside him. Naruto stared at the necklace Tsunade was wearing as he noticed it was radiating something and was glowing green. Tsunade noticed the boy staring and was surprised when she noticed its glow. Something flashed at Tsunade's mind and immediately, she removed her necklace and wore it to Naruto's neck. "Naruto-kun. Channel your chakra and relax. Just relax. You're safe now." "We're here," Tsunade murmured. The boy nodded and took deep calming breaths. He closed his eyes and tried to gather chakra. The necklace then started to glow blue and radiated a relaxing aura. After about 10 seconds, the small forest started to disappear. The trees, branches, and vines sunk down to the floor and soon vanished. The damage caused by the mini-forest started to repair. When he opened his eyes, he found his room back to normal and sensed Kurama's presence once again. "Makuten," Tsunade whispered. "You have Makuten."
That's it for this video. I hope you all enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and follow me on my other social media accounts. Anime God here, and I'm signing off.